Welcome into the Annie Frey Show. There's a lot of news to attend to right now. Todd Blanche, the confirmed Attorney General, that's official. He was sworn into office earlier this week, I think. I think it was one of the things that we got to see Will Scharf. We're going to talk a little bit about Will Scharf in a little bit. Missouri should be so proud of Will Scharf. I got a lot of like business to attend to, a lot of things that I need to say before we get into the news of the day. But Todd Blanche, the Attorney General, is now making an announcement on a fraud investigation. Suspects involved in more than 1,000 sham Chinese marriages since 2016. Are you telling me that there is an industry behind these tourist marriages? Is that what you're telling me? Because it does appear that is the case. So we've got Ethan back in studio, as you can hear. That's the squeakiest that board has ever been, I think. Ryan, did you give him the squeaky marker?
Yeah, I set up a hilarious prank with a false marker.
Oh, now see, if you're going to come in here and get on a microphone and not tell me to turn it up right away, that is such an Ethan thing to do.
You being on the board still, so I'm adjusting here.
That sounded like a judgment on my commitment.
I hopped on the stream on Monday while I was sitting on a beach, and I was like, I wonder what's going on with the Annie Frey Show. And I was like, oh, Annie's running the board.
What's
going on there? Ethan leaves for a week, and everything just changes up.
We call it growth opportunities. I'm trying to grow, and hopefully, if I do my job right, none of you listening will know the difference. That's at least the goal here. So, the reason why I wanted to ask you guys, or Ethan, for you to stay in the beginning of this segment here, today is a very important day. It is August 12th. First of all, it's Brad's birthday, so happy birthday to Brad. Hooray.
Thank you.
We bought him coffee for, I don't know, what will it last you, a couple weeks?
Yeah, maybe a week.
He drinks a lot of coffee. But do you guys know what else August 12th is?
No.
Have you heard anything
Is it the backs to school day?
Well, it was for my kids.
Mine too.
That's another thing we can talk about today.
Freaking Missouri doesn't start this week at all, I don't think.
The problem with this is that if we talk about it, I might cry. I don't want to do that.
I know.
There is a huge conspiracy theory that has been in play for months and months and months. And I didn't know about this until legitimately within the last 90 minutes. I met someone earlier in the day and for a meeting, and she was like, so are you worried about today? And I said, what are you talking about? I don't know. Am I? Should I be? And she said, the gravity thing. Have you heard anything about this?
No.
Ethan?
The gravity thing?
No, that's a no. That's exactly. I was like,
no.
What do you mean? We have a problem with gravity? Brad, I sent you the article.
Yeah.
So had you heard about it before that?
Yeah, earlier today, I was in the studio when this supposedly was supposed to take place.
That's not what I heard. I heard it was supposed to happen between 1 and 3, which I thought would be great for our show.
It would be crazy.
Maybe bad for humanity, but possibly great for our show. So, okay, I say this, and I'm telling you listening right now, this is an Instagram post. Joe Rogan has talked about this. The New York Post. I have an article in my hand from the New York Post today with an assurance from NASA. So if you're listening to this and saying, Andy's dabbling in conspiracies, I am, because they're entertaining at this point. And also, if it happens during our show, I didn't say anything about it in the noon hour, and it happens from 1 to 3, I'm hedging my bets here. Are you guys ready to hear this? This is super sensationalized the way you really want your conspiracy theories to be.
Oh, yeah.
Are you pumped?
I'm looking forward to seeing if you can turn off gravity.
Bring it on.
I don't even know why.
Are going to die in August. August 12th, 2026. The world will lose gravity for 7 seconds.
Who said that?
NASA. They're preparing and they won't tell us why. Leaked online. The project's budget is $89 billion.
Shoot.
And its goal is to survive a 7-second gravitational anomaly expected August 12th, 2026. And expected casualties will be 40 to 60 million people.
What?
They go on 1 to 2 seconds.
40 to 60?
Everything not secured will rise. People, vehicles, animals. 3 to 4 seconds in. Objects will continue to rise to 15 to 20 meters up. 5 to 6 seconds in. Panic and chaos will ensue. People hit ceiling. 7 seconds. Gravity returns. And everything falls from the sky. And 40 to 60 million people are dead.
Imagine you're pooping and then it goes back up. Dude, what a cleanup.
So, like a few seconds.
We went from
yeah.
we went from 60 million people dying.
This
To
is
imagine
The
you're
poop's
pooping.
gonna fly.
this is from Instagram account Ninjas Are Butterflies. Don't know how reliable those guys are, but here we are in the Annie Frey show opening up with. But I thought if it's supposed to happen, the person I was talking to said, I think it's supposed to be happening between 1 and 3. And I'm like, how can something that is potentially going to kill 40 to 60 million people, how is it possible that I haven't heard about it? How bad am I at my job, apparently?
Well, we
don't
need to know. So we're going to need to get somebody from NASA on to talk about why they're doing this. Because
I don't think NASA is employing the removal of gravity.
well, that person said that NASA was doing it, so that must mean it's true.
Oh, I didn't even listen to that part.
And he said that NASA that it leaked from them, and we need to know a few things. 1 is what time is this? 2, why are they doing it? And 3, how? Because if you can just turn gravity off,
You want to hear from NASA?
I want to know from NASA. I want to hear from the horse's mouth.
I've got the New York Post, and look here, it's from Mr. Ed. So, no, Alex Oliveira from the New York Post. Viral conspiracy theories that Earth's gravity will briefly vanish on Wednesday, purportedly causing a cataclysm of the government is hiding, are entirely untrue.
well, that's maybe one person from NASA.
According to New York Post, NASA assured humanity. That's a quote from the article. Quote, Earth's gravity or total gravitational force is determined by its mass. Dummies. I added that last part. NASA told Snopes, reminding the American people about the basics of their elementary school science classes. Said Dr. Fauci. Oh, crap. No, just kidding.
In
Quote,
his private diary, though, he said he was going to turn off the gravity.
he's like, diary
Through a
entry.
vaccine.
August 12th, 2025. 1 year from anti-gravity, but just for 7 seconds because we're just trying it out for fun. Quote, the only way for the Earth to lose gravity would be for the Earth system, the combined mass of its core, mantle, crust, ocean, terrestrial water, and atmosphere, Ryan, obviously, to lose mass. The Earth will not lose gravity on August 12th, 2026. Everybody calm down.
This sounds preposterous.
This also sounds like a great time to tell you that we're speaking to the White House coming up in about 5 minutes.
You're going to ask them about it?
No.
You should.
No.
This is the plot of Avengers Age of Ultron. This is literally the plot of an Avengers
you know what
movie.
It is.
They lift
Sokovia?
up Sokovia a mile into the air, and then they drop it down. That's all this is, people.
Caused a lot of mental anguish for a lot of people that carried on into the series.
To me, as a fiscal conservative,
Sokovia
this is
Accords?
a huge waste of money. $86 billion to turn off the gravity, and for what? You know, I can't
Fun.
afford my groceries
It's
right
not
now.
86, it's 89.
How long would they need to turn
Inflation,
off
right?
the gravity for it in order for it to be worth it? 7 seconds, you're saying it's not worth it. Is there any amount of seconds that would make it worth it?
No. What I want them to spend money on
just a
is the
little bit.
stuff that I've
Feel a little
seen in
lighter?
either Star Trek or Superman 2, I can't remember which, where one of the spaceships or Superman flies around the Earth in the opposite direction and causes the Earth to change its rotation, and it makes people go back in time. As far as I understand, that is the way scientifically
physics.
that
Yeah, of
would
course,
work.
duh.
And I want them to test that, but I've never seen it. I want to see it outside of a movie.
New York Post reports the explanation dispelled outrageous claims of a supposed gravitational anomaly headed for Earth, which have been circulating on social media since late 2012. This has been a conspiracy theory for all of 2026. Did you say, Brad, you heard about it this morning?
Yes.
How is this you guys and your conspiracy theories, you're doing really bad at marketing. But reached a fever pitch this week as the day of the purported arrival, August. If now this happens in the next hour, you're going to get to watch us be hypocrites here. You should tune into the YouTube live chat.
I don't think people will be like, if
But
they're
bolt your
floating,
computer down, folks. Everything's going up.
if people start floating spontaneously, I don't think they're going to be like, what is the Annie Frey show doing?
No, they will. Our fannies will. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. The viral theories involved claims of a leaked NASA document describing, quote, Project Anchor, a supposed program with an $89 billion budget dedicated to preparing the United States for the calamity caused by the gravitational event. $89 billion, man. We throw this money around like crazy.
Safest place to be.
Under a table?
Trampoline.
What? Why?
So that was going to be one of my legit questions, and we can revisit this later, especially if it doesn't happen. We can talk about, would you be more worried about the going up or the coming down?
That's why I'd be on a trampoline.
Because you want to do it a few times.
Well, I'm just thinking of spots where you could fall. That you can't be inside a building, especially
yes,
if we're inside. If we're inside,
that's the best place to be.
No, it's the worst place because the building is going. Is the building not going to raise up either?
The gravity isn't going to remove
gravity
the
is not
building.
selective.
It's not going to pull the building out of the ground.
How do you know that?
I
don't
Do
think
we
it
have an
does.
exact science on this
I'm
kind of thing,
pretty
Ryan
sure.
Wiggins?
I'm pretty sure if you do an anti-gravity chamber, it doesn't like.
I'm just
pull the
saying,
chamber out
a
of the
little
moorings.
earthquake just like destroys buildings, and you're saying that all of a sudden losing gravity for 10 seconds, and it's going to do nothing to the structure of giant buildings like
That's
we're
what-
in right now.
That is what I'm saying. Yes.
Well, in true Ethan form, welcome back. Thank you for reminding us of Jesus on this very important day.
What?
In case we all go to meet him before the show is over. Let's all hope for a Mark Reardon show today on 97.1 FM Talk. We're going to speak with Kush Desai on the Annie Frey Show next. Deputy White House Press Secretary right here. And when we return, we're also going to dip in here to the YouTube live chat poll. Should Trump's vacated Air Force One still have taken off with the rest of the crew and passengers, yes or no? There is some breaking news on this story that came out right before we went on air, so we'll follow up with that at the bottom of the hour. Kush Desai in the White House next. Don't go away.
Is neuropathy making it harder to walk safely, forcing you to watch every step, grip railings, or live with the fear of falling? If you've been told there's nothing that can be done for neuropathy, that isn't the full story. At Comprehensive Integrative Healthcare, we don't just label symptoms. We evaluate the underlying factors that may be contributing to nerve dysfunction. Our focus is helping reduce neuropathy symptoms, improving balance, and supporting better daily function, so you can stay active and independent longer. Most people don't realize neuropathy often progresses over time, and when it worsens, symptoms can become more limiting and more difficult to manage. Imagine being able to walk with more confidence again, sleep without burning or tingling waking you up, and stop constantly worrying about your next step. Right now, we're offering a free neuropathy consultation to determine if you may be a candidate for care. Call now to schedule your appointment at 636-538-5188. That's 636-538-5188. Don't wait until symptoms get worse. Call 636-538-5188 today.
Things in Washington, D.C. may seem unsettled at times by their Well, one department in the U.S. government is progressing. That is the IRS. Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. The IRS is in full function to collect on unpaid taxes. If you've been putting off a tax problem, it's time to call the Lance Story Law Firm and get it resolved. Don't think the government is too busy to focus on my issues. Too many of my clients thought the same. So if you owe back taxes or haven't filed returns in years, it's time to call the Lance Story Law Firm and finally resolve your tax issues. Remember, if you have tax problems, you have legal problems. Call the Lance Story Law Firm. Our office is right here in St. Louis. Or call 314-260-6120 or visit LanceStoryLaw.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm, the Lance Story Law Firm.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's Best Eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition.
It seems to me this is pretty good news.
It is good news, and I could not help but note that the annual rate of core CPI inflation, that's excluding food and energy, well, you want energy out of it because of the matter in Iran. If you take that out, 2.5% in July. That's back to where it was prior to the start of the Iran conflict. This tells me that inflation is not spreading out beyond energy, beyond gasoline prices.
So there you have Fox Business reporting on the CPI here. Consumer Price Index rose 0.1% compared with June. The Department of Labor said Wednesday, compared with a year ago, the Consumer Price Index is up 3.4%. Let's get to our next guest. Kush Desai joins us. He's a Deputy White House Press Secretary on X at Kush Desai 47. Kush, thanks for being here with us. It's great to have you back on the show.
Thanks for having me on.
Of course. So I want to ask you about these numbers. And I know that people are talking about prices, affordability. Of course, we're talking about jobs numbers. The economy has a lot of Americans' attention, even with everything else going on in the world. How do you feel about this latest report?
Well, for sure. I think today's CPI report was very good news. I think, number one, we saw that we're not seeing the sort of spillover effects outside of energy, which is obviously a bit volatile given the Iran situation. But we're not seeing that outside of some of these more volatile product categories in CPI. But secondly, I think most promisingly is that we're continuing to see more and more evidence that the president's agenda is paying off where the administration's got involved. We saw a continuing decline in prescription drug prices as a direct result of the president's most favored nation drug pricing deals, a direct result of Trump RX and other interventions in that space. We saw auto insurance costs continue to come down, and that's because of the president's immigration enforcement policies, getting dangerous illegal aliens off of our roads. And we also saw beef prices actually go down in the month of July, which again is a result of what this administration has done to get beef prices, which have been on the up for the past year or so, contained. And meanwhile, we saw the price of other household essentials like eggs, like dairy, like poultry, continue to stay low as they were lower than they were over the past year. So I think this is a lot of good news, and it says a lot about how this administration's policies are paying off.
You know, I think that the president has spoken to the affordability issue. I know that it's something that frustrates him because of the mess that he inherited, the amount of overspending that took place in the last the 4 years leading up to his second term. But there are Americans who do still feel like things are unaffordable. What is the administration's perception of the American individual consumer's perception of things costing too much? Is there still work to be done? Are Americans missing the mark in understanding what the current economic situation is? How does the White House feel about that?
Sure. Look, there's absolutely more work to do. And look, Joe Biden spent 4 years just taking a wrecking ball to our economy with runaway spending that caused this inflation crisis in the first place, and also with tons of red tape, with tax hikes, with other policies that have really taken a hammer to our economy, a sledgehammer to our economy. And so, yeah, I think there's a lot more work to be done. And I think the fact that we saw prescription drug prices, we saw auto insurance prices, we just saw beef prices come down for the first month in a long time, I think shows that our policies, when you give them time to take effect, really do work here.
Kush Desai speaking with us right now, Deputy White House Press Secretary on X at Kush Desai 47. How much cooperation is the White House getting to make, the American experience more affordable for the everyday citizen, the everyday taxpayer? Is this easy for the president to say, this is what we want to do and we're going to get it done? Or are they finding obstacles along the way?
Absolutely. There's tons of obstacles. Number one, Democrats in Congress for sure are not exactly playing ball and working with the president to pass our agenda. The president passed the largest working class tax cut in history that can package that legislation that created the Trump accounts and many other longer-term benefits for the American people. Every single Democrat voted against this legislation. So we have tons of obstacles here, but we're also finding lots of folks who are cooperating with us. I think the fact that the president has secured trillions of dollars in investments to manufacture in the United States from lots of key industry players. I think the fact that so many retailers are actually lowering prices is a direct result of what this administration is doing to get those prices down. I think shows that, while in particular, Democrats and the left are not exactly cooperative, to say the least. There's lots of people who are patriotic, who are doing the right thing, and we're intent on working with them to keep doing the right thing.
One of the main talking points of, I think, the Democratic Socialists of America is affordability. And their solution, they come to the table, they say, we need bigger government that provides more to the American people. And if you're somebody who's young and you're not feeling as comfortable in the affordability of being a 20-year-old, which I will say, I don't remember ever feeling like I could afford anything. When I was 20, I was hustling my butt off to try to make ends meet. And you realize you just really have to sacrifice a lot of the things you think you want because you just can't afford them yet. So you work your tail off to try to get them. But for a lot of young people, They hear we need affordable housing. Well, that sounds nice. We need, free health care. Well, that sounds fantastic. We need, lower cost grocery stores where the government gives you the assistance that you need in order to afford the groceries that you might want to have. That sounds really nice, and it is measuring well with a portion of the electorate right now. What does the administration say to the DSA creep right now in our campaign season?
For sure. I think it's highly concerning to see the rise of socialism and communism in American politics. I mean, it's never worked before, and it's not going to work now. But again, I think we're focused on doing what does work. And again, I keep pointing back to prescription drug prices because no other president in modern history has been able to get prescription drug prices down other than President Trump, and have done so in a very sustainable way, in a way that doesn't compromise on innovation or anything like that. And so I think the president's focus, the administration's focus is to keep doing what works and let the results speak for themselves. And so I think that's our focus. And we hope that, again, I think people take notice of this and realize that government-run grocery stores didn't work in Cuba. They didn't work in the Soviet Union. They're not going to work here. But the president's supply-side policies that unleash economic growth, that unleash the free market, those do work.
Kush Desai speaking with us from the White House. Do you feel as though the president, how far into their economic policies are they right now? It seems like the Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent, always has another victory to relay to the American people. But I do think the American people are wanting more. I know that you're talking to us about the business of the White House, but not the campaign that's coming up. But it is going to weigh heavily on voters as they're choosing between the candidates being presented to them in these midterms. Another 2 years of having a Republican majority in the House and a Republican majority in the Senate. I can only imagine what this administration would be able to get done economically for the American people.
That's exactly right. I think a lot of what we're doing here, again, unlike what the Democrats have traditionally sought to do, which is kind of just throw money at the problem and hope it goes away, our solutions take time to materialize and to take effect. And so you brought up what Congress has done. Remember, it was just over a year ago that Congress passed the president's One Big Beautiful Bill, the Working Families Tax Cuts, and we're only now starting to see the benefits of people having more money in their pockets. We've talked at length about Trump accounts. It'll take not even months, years for the effects of that, the positive benefits of that to really be felt by the next generation of America's children. And so there's a lot that needs to be done here. And I think, again, we're focused on continuing to deliver more and more results because I think, again, these things take time, but our policies have a proven track record.
Kush Desai speaking with us right now, the Deputy White House Press Secretary. I'm glad you brought up Trump accounts. It's one of my favorite topics to discuss. I think Treasury Secretary Bessent just recently was talking about Trump accounts and encouraging more employers to get behind maybe matching in a similar way that companies might match a 401k contribution from their paycheck, but also maybe getting employers to match those Trump account contributions that parents might make for their kids. Is the administration seeing interest and cooperation in the private sector to participate in this new and innovative process?
Absolutely. Just within the last couple of weeks, Treasury actually announced specific, the specific rules and regulations that go behind how companies can contribute to the Trump accounts of their employees' children. And yes, I think we're seeing a cascade of interest from not just your big companies, but also small and medium-sized companies, because this is a powerful tool, a powerful incentive to encourage workers to come work for you and to do a good job. And so I think it's a win-win-win for all parties involved. And so, again, we are working hand in glove with companies, again, big, large, medium, small, across the board to ensure that as many Americans take advantage of Trump accounts as possible, and again, invest in the next generation of American children.
I'm so glad to talk to you about that, and I'm so glad to hear that it continues to be to continue to gain the momentum. The ball is definitely rolling, but I can't wait to see what this looks like in 5 years and 10 years, for my children, but for any kids that are signing up right now. And if people are thinking about it, trumpaccounts.gov, go sign it up. You can send me messages on my Facebook if you've got questions. I'll answer them if I can, but I'm not authorized to do any of this other than I'm a mom who's participated in it, Kush, and people ask me questions every time we have this conversation, and we get more kids signed up for them.
Absolutely. I mean, again, trumpaccounts.gov, it is a seamless experience. Our app has been designed. We've got some real brainiacs who've made this an absolutely seamless experience. Again, there's even a QR code where if you want to, if you've got a kid in your church who mows your lawn, instead of giving $20, you can just pull out your phone and contribute that $20 to his or her Trump account and let that money grow. And so, again, we want every American to take advantage of this. And again, this is something that's the president has invested a lot of political capital into this, and this is something that we're not going to really see the benefits of for another, not even 5 years, but probably 10 or 20 years. And so this is a long-term investment, and the president is issued a call to action here.
It's great. Kush Desai, thank you once again for being with us. We look forward to having you back soon.
Thanks for having me on.
Take care. Bye-bye. Kush Desai, he's a deputy White House press secretary, talking to us there, and grateful to have him on and to be able to have that connection with what's going on and where the White House sits on it. Whenever we reach out to them, they always work with us to get on the show. So we're grateful for that. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, should Trump's vacated Air Force One still have taken off with the rest of the crew and passengers? Now, there is an update that has just come out on this story, and I think it's a very important. I saw this and I went, that might change my opinion, my answer to this question as to whether or not that Air Force One should have still taken off while he was on a different one. I'll tell you what the breaking news is on this particular story, and we'll get to some of your comments as well on the text line, 314-241-9797, 314-241-9797. Text us your thoughts on this story, comment on the YouTube chat. Brad's monitoring that, and vote in the poll. We'll be back in a minute. Don't go away. So I want to talk to you about Stewart's American Mortgage here and the opportunity that you have to get in on a new home purchase with something pretty incredible with Stewie. 314-324-4440. I'm telling you what, you can send this man a text message right now, and I'm giving you his personal cell phone number. I think that's pretty incredible. And you can talk to him about the bagel loan and how it might be beneficial to you in your new home purchase. But you get to pair the bagel loan, which is a loan that you get with no closing costs, none. You're going to save thousands of dollars with the bagel loan. He's going to offer you for the first year of that 30-year loan on that new home purchase, he's going to offer you a 1% interest rate discount. So this is an incredible time right now. This is not for forever. It's until he decides it's not happening anymore. So at least get the conversation started. You can trust him. He's incredible at what he does. He's thoughtful. He's going to help you make the best decision for you. So reach out to Stewie directly on his cell phone. Call or text 314-324-4440. You can Google the bagel loan for more information. NMLS number 226715.
I don't know if you guys know this, but I'm in the air conditioning business. I don't advertise that much. I was leaving a customer's home and I was out in Illinois, and then as I was driving away, my fan for my air conditioner went out. I had to cross back over into St. Louis where there was bridge construction, so massive rush hour, backed up traffic, windows down, sweating. I had to take it straight to the dealership to drop it off because there's no way I can function, much less work, without air conditioning in my truck. And I'm the same way in my house, and every homeowner, not every homeowner, but most homeowners are the exact same way. So if you're experiencing difficulties with your air conditioner, meaning you have none, call me, Bart Inman, and it's one easy number, Missouri and Illinois, 314-293-2600. Again, Bart Inman, 314-293-2600, Missouri and Illinois. Call me. God bless.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Well, because there always needs to be a scandal manufactured by somebody. The YouTube live chat poll today is about the latest one that I'm not sure is a scandal. I'm really tainting the poll here. I shouldn't do this.
Sure are.
I really am.
You're
I
like
think
a 3 a.m. ballot
where
dump.
I'm coming from here, but I'll just read it as is. Should Trump's vacated Air Force One still have taken off with the rest of the crew and passengers? Yes or no? I think you know what my answer is on that, but we want to know what yours is in today's YouTube live chat poll. You find it by going to the YouTube live stream that we do every single day. Hello, we are live waving at you right now if you want to see us. It is 12:34. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for...
So you're telling me right now that you don't think this is a controversy at all? Really?
I just don't. No, I think this is just soup du jour. It's the thing of the day. Everybody wants to be mad about something. If you hate Trump, this is the thing you're going to be mad about today.
Soup du jour.
Yes.
What's your favorite kind of soup?
That's a good question. I had the cream of mushroom at Disney World in our Snow White dinner recently.
That's very specific.
And that was
I
maybe
like the Orlando soup.
one of the best soups I've ever had. I never really would have said cream of mushroom until then, but it was great.
Brad, you got a favorite soup?
Yeah. It's I don't know.
Do tell us.
He said yeah, and then he said I don't know.
Well, does the turkey chili from does chili count as a soup?
I think it should, Brad.
The turkey
I'm going to come
chili-
down hard on this and say that should be the Friday poll, and yes, that it should.
on Ryan's recommendation or assurances, then mine would be the turkey chili from Breadco. I love that stuff.
French onion soup is delicious.
It's the bistro soup now.
Huh?
At Panera. Yeah, they don't call it French onion anymore.
Why?
It's bistro onion or French bistro or something stupid.
Back to the topic at hand.
Okay.
President Trump was speaking about, he was asked, I guess he was getting ready to board a plane, ironically. Which plane? We don't know. About the story that came out, and this is the Fox News report from yesterday. So this is yesterday's news. I'm going to tell you the story briefly here. I'm going to play for you what he said, I think, last night, and then I'm going to give you the update that came out right before the show started today. Fox News' Emma Busey reported President Donald Trump reportedly secretly exited Air Force One via a catering truck at the NATO summit in Turkey, boarding a smaller jet to evade Iran threats. President Donald Trump secretly boarded a third, smaller United States military aircraft using an airport catering truck as cover to depart that summit in July, while using an older Air Force One jet as a decoy, according to reports. Here's the thing, though. There were other people, including my understanding today from earlier in the day, is the Secretary of State was on there. So it's like anybody, and this is how this is going to be a story. The people who are going to make the story is like, you let the reporters, you hate the press so much. Marco Rubio was on this thing, according to reports. So he was asked about it last night, and
I don't worry about anything, to be honest. Whatever it is, you know my attitude, whatever.
Gee, why did you need to do that?
Well, it's only up to Secret Service. I just follow what they'd like to do. So I go by Secret Service and the military. They wanted me to go on a different flight, a different plane, equal safety, but they wanted me to do it, so I do it. I do what they say.
Why did they want you to do that?
I guess there was a threat out there. I didn't really ask too much about it. I get a lot of threats.
so there he is talking outside the airplane, and he's saying, I just do what they tell me to do. The president doesn't. There's a lot of protocol involved here, where if the president is told to go do something, these people, their whole job is keeping him safe.
Yeah.
To the extent that they're supposed to die trying.
Yes. That's one of the reasons that I think this is a little bit of a hyped up story, is because I bet there are a lot of threats all the time. And he said that there.
But there are a lot of threats.
And so,
but the threat was that the plane was going to get shot down from a surface-to-air missile, and he's like, "I'll get on another one." That's the story. That's the story that's being presented out there. You put the press on there. You put members of your cabinet on there. That still took off. Well, here is a little bit of information that might add to our understanding of the story. I asked myself as soon as I heard that this happened, I'm like, who was on the plane that Trump was not safe enough riding? I'm skeptical about that. That was a question that I asked. Well, Eric Mack of Fox News reported today, President Donald Trump reportedly secretly boarded that third smaller U.S. military craft and used the catering truck as cover and an older Air Force jet as a decoy. That's a story from yesterday that we heard. But now we find out that the decoy Air Force One that President Donald Trump was snuck off of was protected by U.S. fighter jets on its flight to the United Kingdom. A senior Trump administration official told Fox News on Wednesday. The revelation pushes back on media fears that the press corps and staff might have been left vulnerable to the perceived threat from hostile actors seeking to strike Trump's flight out of Ankara, Turkey last month. The previously undisclosed security measure adds another layer to the extraordinary precautions surrounding the president's plane swap, which left the aircraft normally associated with Trump continuing on to the UK without him aboard. The press corps was joined on the, quote, decoy plane by U.S. fighter jet cover by Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, and were aware Trump was not on board. So does that make a difference to you to know that they added additional fighter jets to protect the plane, which part of the story, and this was reported initially because I kind of remember the whole they're not taking this Air Force One, they're bringing in a different Air Force One. There was and it was just there was a weirdness about it as it was being discussed.
Yeah.
But one of the things that was reported is that they told the press to close their windows on the plane. And they were like, why? And they're like, close your windows. Does it make a difference to you that they took these security measures to make sure that it was safe?
So, yeah, it does make a difference, but it's all part of the same package that I'm talking about, where it just seems like this is what they did because that's what you do. That's what the Secret Service is supposed to do. This is what the president's supposed to do. Should they, at every threat, tell everybody involved everything that's going on? No. You kind of just keep going the way that you're supposed to go. And for the most part, it's all fine. And this was fine. So I just think that they did what they were supposed to do. And to be angry about it, especially when you, like you pointed out already, it wasn't just that they were like, well, we're going to leave the press on this plane. We think it might blow up. We'll just leave the press on it. That's not what they did. And that's kind of the initial brush, was that they were saying that was kind of what the implication was. That's not what it was if you had senior officials on there still. So.
More from today's report. Trump said Tuesday night that the decision to switch aircraft was made at the direction of a security detail and the military. President Donald Trump boards the new Qatari-gifted Air Force One in Suffolk, Britain, after attending a NATO leaders summit in Turkey. And then it says, once aboard, however, the press was told to keep the window shades down. A Secret Service agent later came to the press cabin to reinforce the instruction, according to the Pool report. When a photographer briefly opened the shade, the photographer was quickly told to close it again. A White House wrangler told reporters only that the closed shades had been requested by the Secret Service. So now, while Air Force One is not traditionally just flying around unguarded and unprotected, I think the safety and security measures that were provided to that plane, which I would not say at all it's unlikely that there were additional security measures probably provided to that airplane that they don't want to talk about. I don't need to know. Okay, yes, the First Amendment, freedom of the press. You have a setup where the people have to reign supreme in this country all the time. And the freedom of the press is one of the number one ways that balance of power stays put, that the people can ask, question authority, speak truth to power. But what we have is a press that is an agenda-driven press at this point. If they're on Air Force One and that press pool is told more of what's going on, then can they trust, can the administration trust that is going to stay top secret or, not be reported, not be leaked as in a capacity that would endanger the people on the plane? So I go back and forth between what the what the people are entitled to know on this. And, you know, if if the people in that plane were in danger, I mean, there were Secret Service people in that plane who knew what was going on. There are always Secret Service people who don't know the full story of what's going on. Not everybody knows everything all of the time. But I have to think that if Marco Rubio and Scott Bessent were on this plane, that it was safe to be on the plane to that extent. You know, I don't think we know the nature exactly of what the threat was to President Trump either.
It's another really good point. I mean, I hadn't even thought about the fact that if you tell the press, you're already leaking that the president's not on there, and so you endanger him differently then, which is true. I mean, I didn't even think about the fact that that would be part of it. And it's not just because they're the press either. It's because if you tell people and it gets out, then if there's a credible threat, the threat is going to adjust to find the president instead of the decoy.
And every minute that doesn't happen is another minute that the president is safe.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I immediately thought to myself, they still sent the plane off with everybody else? And then I thought to myself, do you do that job knowing you're adjacent to the president? I mean, he's already been shot at how many times?
Right.
There's a man, Corey Compatori, who was in Butler, who just went to say, that's my president. I love that guy. And he was downrange from a madman, and he's dead now because he was in proximity to Trump. So I would imagine that there is kind of a bit of an understanding that there is a risk that comes with the job. And that I think they'd all have to understand, too, if it comes down between saving the president's life and anybody else that's around him, they save the president, right? That's what all the movies say.
And I'll just go back to what I was saying before, that this isn't the first threat that even we know that Iran has been putting out. Even while he was running, Iran was putting out threats that they wanted to kill the president.
There are suggestions that the Butler situation is connected.
Exactly.
Or that the
golf course
one, whichever golf course that was.
Yeah.
So... well, I'd love to know what you think about this. I'm wondering how much of our audience is like, that shouldn't have gone down that way. So we're asking you on the Annie Frey YouTube chat, live chat poll, should Trump's vacated Air Force One still have taken off with the rest of the crew and the passengers? Yes or no? Send us your text as well, 314-241-9797. Give us your feedback there. Ryan will cover that. And Brad's got the YouTube chat. So send us your thoughts. We'd love to share them here live on the air. Weekends America next. Don't go away. So let's talk about Home Shield Foundation repair. I know there's a lot of rain coming in the northern area, and I think it's reaching down towards us. If you've got a pit in your stomach because you know that water's coming into your basement now, get a solution in line. At least have a conversation with Matt Hayes. Have him come look at your basement and give you an assessment of what you might need to have done. It's just information. If you meet him, I think you're going to like him. And I think you're going to say, I'd like you to fix my basement once and for all. Think about the relief when you check out the forecast and you realize you don't have to panic and your basement's going to stay dry. He's going to give you a lifetime warranty on that as well. Reach out to Matt Hayes and talk to him at 314-271-9900. That's 314-271-9900. Tell him Annie sent you. And ask him, too, if you're looking to get the job done and get it done right, about his 0% financing for 24 months. That's pretty incredible way to get the job done in a more affordable atmosphere with great people locally owned and operated right here in St. Louis. 314-271-9900, 314-271-9900, online at homeshieldfoundationrepairs.com.
150th birthday, the future of Western civilization, the future of human liberty. That is what is at stake in our world right now.
America 250 is sponsored by Paramount Men's Medical Center.
It's not pleasant to hear it, but Missouri is falling behind in its spending of state tax dollars, education, and health care. But there are ways to get Missouri moving forward again and produce a better life for all of us. That's why we at the Show Me Institute put together a 2026 Missouri Blueprint, a roadmap on how the state can move to a brighter future. The blueprint covers policy ideas from taxes to government transparency, from education to healthcare and budget reform. Let's allow students to attend the school of their choice. Let's adopt new proven methods to help the many school kids who can barely read. Let's limit state spending growth for Missouri's long-term financial stability. And let's invest in future needs with more nuclear energy. Why not common sense reforms to make things better for all Missourians? Check out our 2026 Missouri Blueprint, moving Missouri forward at showmeinstitute.org. The Show Me Minute has been brought to you by Show Me Institute and Show Me Opportunity.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how linking to the market is much safer than owning the market for your retirement savings. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go to retirementkey.com.
Tony La Russa here. Has your loss of energy and weight gain thrown you a curveball in your relationship? If so, go see my friends over at Victory Men's Health. Discreet first-class professionals will help you hit those curves out of the park. VictoryMen'sHealth.com. That's VictoryMen'sHealth.com.
Well, we're asking you here on the Annie Frey YouTube live chat poll, should Trump's vacated Air Force One still have taken off with the rest of the crew and passengers? Yes and no, yes or no. Go to the YouTube live chat poll to vote. Leave a comment. You can also text us at 314-241-9797.
As a hollaback girl, I've always been offended by that song. It paints us in a bad light. Can
you tell us what the good light is?
Well, I think a hollaback girl is just somebody who's willing to take whatever comes along, and I'm okay with that. And she's like, I'm not that. Yikes. I'm too good for that.
Anyway.
Today's topic for Wiggins America is polite ways to tell somebody you're not interested in them.
Okay. Let me have it.
These are ways of letting people down slowly.
Is this always like a dating capacity?
Yeah, for the most part. I mean, maybe there's other ways you could apply it, but it's for the most part, letting somebody know if they want to date you that you don't want to date them.
Okay.
However, as I go through these, I also want you to think about being the person who's being told this and tell me if you think that that's actually working to let you down nicely. The first one is, I really appreciate your interest, but I don't think we're a good match. Now, that one, to me, is probably the nicest one on this list.
I think that's just saying, like, it's not you, it's me. I don't know.
Well, that one is actually at the very end. It says outright, do not use that phrase.
Yeah.
It's not you, it's me is cliche at this point.
That's very sanitized.
Saying you're not a good match is like saying it's not you, it's not me, it's just not us.
Like, yeah, it's the fate
Yeah.
of the world is that we wouldn't get together because we wouldn't work. And I have no control over that. That's what it's
I
gotta
don't know.
say.
I think that's not terrible.
I don't either. That's the one that I thought, okay, I could handle that.
Mm-hmm.
But as it gets down into these, I'm like, if I were receiving that, I would go, okay, thank you for trying. But this next one is number 2. I have so much respect for you, but I see our relationship as more of a friendship. These are going to be different for you, Annie, as a girl. Because
I was going to say, do you want me to go? Let me react.
Go ahead.
After you guys.
No, I want to hear, like, have you even used these? Like, do you have a go-to? Or did you, I should say?
I've been married for 20 years.
Yeah, did you have a go-to?
I mean, I don't know. Let me first say that there are a lot of boys that I had huge crushes on, and I don't think I dated any of them.
Okay.
I just pined from afar, and it was like the worst thing that could happen is they'd find out that I liked them, and then they wouldn't be interested. So I just didn't put myself out there, and I'm very adamant that the boy should do the asking out.
Yes.
So, but I did date a lot of really great people that I just wasn't super into outside of a friendship. And then, like, once you kind of go across that line, it's hard to go back.
Yeah.
If it's not reciprocated necessarily. But they're wonderful people. Like, they would, I could almost say that everybody who I ever dated would make a really great spouse to somebody someday. But it just wasn't a good match.
You're a great guy. But what do you think, Brad? I have so much respect for you, but I see our relationship as more of a friendship.
Just say the second half of that. I have so much respect for you. It's not a disrespectful thing to not want to date somebody. That's unnecessary, wordy. I don't know. It sounds disingenuous.
I hear it and I just go, no matter what it is.
And to Annie's point, and I think maybe you would agree with this. Once the guy has asked, the Rubicon has been crossed.
Yeah,
the friendship is done.
But also, let me just say here that you guys are all like, we should be able to tell girls that they're pretty when we think they're pretty, which is how you sound when you say that. Telling someone they're a nice guy, you probably really mean it. So I just want to point out that you don't want to hear it, and I respect that. I'm not here to tell you. I mean, the thing that follows that sucks too. Mm-hmm. But if somebody actually does think you're cool, that you're a great guy, it's just not really there for me. That I think we might be talking about the same thing. Where I don't want to hear a dude tell me that I'm not. I don't need to hear that. It's not important to the context of the situation. You know, let's get to the business of whatever we're attending to, which is kind of what you're saying. Like, just tell me you're not interested.
It's totally different though because of one thing, and it's the situation. If it's you if a girl tells me you're a really nice guy or you're a really cool guy, and it's not prompted by anything, fantastic. If it's after I say, would you like to go out with me?
Sounds patronizing.
You're a really nice guy.
Well, let me ask you how many times that a man would walk up to a woman and compliment that. What percentage of those times is it involved in other business?
Well, for me, it would be 0%.
Well, I don't think that your anecdotal experience is the same experience that women have.
Maybe, yeah. You think
So
that if I were to say it, they would interpret that?
If you are one of the good guys, and you are.
Yeah, I know.
Where's the dump button here? How do I
Tell me I'm a nice guy. You're a cool guy, Ryan.
If you're one of the good guys, and I do believe that you are, that doesn't mean that that's the experience that a woman is having in those situations, which unfortunately for you taints the experience, the intention for what you have, which is why it's just a better decision.
Totally. And the only reason I said that yesterday when we were doing X's and Y's, if we're doing callbacks here, is that the question was, is there anything, if you took away all social expectations of it, that you would like better? And that was my answer. Because I know that you can't really do that without somebody maybe.
I know that both of you would like to be able to say to a woman, you look really nice today. I really like that dress on you. And it would be genuine. But that's not necessarily the norm. At best, 50-50. So you have to understand from the woman's experience how they're consuming that. If a woman is not breaking up, but denying a guy, and she's saying, I think you're great. I really love you. I love our friendship. But whatever the follow-up there is, the intention is the same from the female to the male in that situation as you're implying to me in my mind. Like, the intention is good.
Yeah.
But you don't want to hear it.
And I would say, that dress looks great on you. Brad would say the exact same phrase, but he'd be like, that looks great on you.
Ew.
And it's weird. Like, it's just weird because Brad said it.
I know that
way.
uncomfortable feeling.
The next one that is a nice way to let people down is, I think you deserve someone who can match your energy and feelings. And I don't think I can do that.
Ooh, that's like, you're way too into this. You're freaking me out, man. You're freaking me out.
It is. Real quick, you're amazing, but I'm not looking for anything romantic right now. Seems pretty standard.
Yeah.
It's just saying, I'm not interested.
That's saying that's giving potentially false hope, though.
You're truly a great person, but I think we're better suited as individuals than as a couple.
Sounds
you're
like
just
the
kind
same
of
as before.
reshuffling the words. Last one, you deserve someone who can completely return your feelings, and I'm not the right person to do that.
That sounds to me like what you say when you need to be direct and the other things you were hinting didn't land. Let's take a quick break here. Deroy Murdock next. Air Comfort Service. Find them online at aircomfortservice.com. If you are thinking about replacing that HVAC system, there's a deal for you right now that's going to make you want to dial that phone number. So I'm going to tell you here in a minute, Air Comfort Service, their phone number. Pull out your phone and I'll tell it to you, and you can put it in there and save it. Right now, you can save up to $3,400 for a limited time with double carrier cool cash rebates from Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. You can contact Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation for a free in-home estimate. They also have free instant quotes for you to use that will give you a ballpark range of what a new system might cost you. So all you got to do is go to visit aircomfortservice.com, click on Get a Quote, enter basic information about your home, and you'll get a ballpark cost really, really quickly from Air Comfort Service. Here's the number to put down in your phone and give them a call to talk about that new HVAC system. 314-513-0091. That's 314-513-0091. Call Air Comfort Service and ask about that carrier cool cash rebate opportunity. aircomfortservice.com.
Approach from the new Attorney General. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. Todd Blanche just taking a wide variety of questions from reporters, including about the contempt referral from a Senate panel over Dr. Anthony Fauci invoking his right to remain silent in a recent COVID-related hearing, even though he was preemptively pardoned by President Biden.
When the Department of Justice receives a referral from Congress, there's a process. There's a process of how we take it in and how we investigate it.
Blanche says any update on a potential Fauci contempt case would be when a decision is made, adding he does not expect that anytime soon. The comments from Blanche coming during a news conference to announce 11 people indicted in connection with more than 1,000 sham marriages across the country since 2016, many involving Chinese citizens, and more under investigation. Police in Minnesota say it appears a man killed his partner, their child, and then himself at a home daycare they own.
Multiple police agencies on scene of the Brown Bear Home Daycare in Hopkins in the suburban Twin Cities, following what we're told was a domestic incident.
Upon arrival, officers located a deceased male, female, and juvenile victim.
Hopkins Police Chief Brent Johnson.
There were other children present within the daycare, and we were able to get them out of the daycare and reunify them with their parents.
We're told none of the daycare children were injured, that all of the deceased lived in the home and were related.
Fox's Jeff Manasso. Police say another parent witnessed the attack while dropping off a child and called police. The man accused of killing Charlie Kirk has not entered a plea, but his defense lawyers now say the intended target was hit during the shooting and that others were not endangered as part of their argument in a new filing that Tyler Robinson should not be eligible for the death penalty if convicted. America is listening to Fox News.
When I hit my 50s, I felt like things were slowing down.
This is Sandra's Metamucil story.
I started taking Metamucil for digestion, but had no idea it would impact so much more. Not only did Metamucil help me feel more regular, but my heart health saw the benefits too.
Metamucil, one simple routine, 4 health benefits. Digestive health starts here. Go to metamucil.com for more details.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight illnesses like pneumococcal pneumonia and RSV. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and can help protect you from getting really sick. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. See more at PfizerForAll.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
So crazy that Bernie Sanders and AOC won't even endorse you. You're pretty far out there. I think these holiday conversations are actually valuable. She hates Thanksgiving. Today, our own K-File here at CNN uncovered the fact that over in Michigan, Abdul El Sayed wants to get rid of the 4th of July. And I think the reason...
So you got Scott Jennings there talking about the election that took place yesterday in Wisconsin. And I think it was kind of a shocking result to see that the Hong governor candidate, she was crazy Democrat. Why is SNL not doing the thing where they have a Democrat Socialist of America meeting? Ryan, you got SNL, you got the opportunity to have like what if we said that we hate Thanksgiving? How about football? Like, just think of the most American things that you could possibly... It's a parody right now of what it means to be an American. If it would be the stupidest thing you could say, the Democrats are out there and they're saying it.
Yeah, let's outlaw, how about soda? Oh, wait, we actually tried that in New York.
Yeah, yeah. How about mashed potatoes? Let's get rid of those. Let's get to our guest, someone who's been following this closely, of course. Deroy Murdock joins us once again, nationally syndicated columnist, Project 21 ambassador, and Fox News contributor. Deroy, what do you make of the results that we've seen so far, especially in states like Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, of all places?
Annie, well, it's great to talk to you. And I saw the news about Francesca Hong not making it, and I must say I was disappointed. I was hoping that she would get the nomination, and I think it would have been very easy for Tom Tiffany to defeat her, especially with her comments about being opposed to Thanksgiving. I think she hates Halloween. She also is opposed to interracial dating. She also said that tipping is, I think, an extension of white supremacy culture and slavery. I mean, it's wow. You can't make this stuff up. So I think this guy who won, David Crowley, the Milwaukee County executive, it's going to be a much tougher opponent for Tom Tiffany to battle this fall. But and of course, we won't be able to. I don't think he's got this list of crazy comments like Ms. Hong has had. So I think the people of Wisconsin voted. The Democrats voted with their brains, maybe not their hearts, and thought let's put somebody in who actually has a much better chance of winning. And I think that's what they did last night.
You know, Deroy, I've said this, I've written this on my Substack, and I've really can't get away from the thought that as much as Donald Trump has remade the Republican Party, the fact that any sort of adjacency that a moderate capitalist Democrat could have towards rubbing elbows with Donald Trump it makes them say, I can't say it out loud. I can't make this a public opinion that I have, even though I think that socialism would destroy the United States of America. You've got the common sense members of the Democrat Party who up until here recently, maybe within the last few weeks even, none of them want to speak up and say, like, I like economic prosperity via the free market system and capitalism in the United States. And now you have an overtaking, metastasizing socialist environment in the Democrat Party that they don't seem to know what to do with.
Well, actually, a number of Democrats in the House did step forward, and they came up with this statement called Promise to America. It said, among other things, we want safety, not lawlessness. We're proud, not ashamed of America. And you think and also said we're capitalists, not socialists. You'd think they'd be able to get out of 212 House Democrats, we'll get, maybe 150, 175 of them to agree with that. Well, guess what? Only 10 10 House Democrats were able to agree with the ideas or concept of we're capitalists, not socialists. We want safety, not lawlessness. We're proud, not ashamed of America. And there are more statements of that in that declaration, but that's the gist of it. And only 10 people signed on to it. I don't think those are extreme, crazy right-wing concepts. And I guess these days with the House Democrat conference where it is, these people are very far left to begin with. They're just some of them are being defeated by even further left DSA people. But the era of the moderate centrist Democrats is just over. That's just done. And you've got basically either super liberal Democrats in the House, and they're sometimes being defeated by actual Marxists, communists in the DSA. So I think that it's not a good day for the Democrat Party, where these people are, even the ones who are not as far out there as Francesca Hong is. The folks who are there right now are not any kind of moderates or any kind of centrists by any measure of those terms.
Deroy, I hear a lot of people. This is how I feel like I really know that the moderate Democrat pundits, the ones who are they're kind of supposed to be the translators, where they take what the socialists are saying and they soften it and they package up, wrap it up in a pretty bow, and try to serve it to the American people. Be like, oh, they're not serious, or they just think that people should have health care that they deserve, but they don't ever talk about, of course, the policy to get there. I wonder if you have thoughts on the correlation that I see a lot, like Adana Brazil of a few other people saying the Republicans had this movement. It was a Tea Party movement in 2010. They're having their Tea Party moment over in the Democrat Party. Is the DSA and the Tea Party, are there any cross-section moments here politically that you can see?
Well, I mean, certainly their ideas are. I think the DSA is much further left than the Tea Party ever was to the right. Let's put it like that. So, I mean, in terms of where they are relative to their belief in the American system, I think they're two different universes as far as that goes. I think you may have a parallel insofar as the DSA folks have gotten some people on the ballot as the Democrat nominees. People like Abdul El Sayed in Michigan, who may be exciting and set the blood pressure or set the pulse up for people on the far left. Are they going to be able to make it after November? Will they make it all the way to election night and win? That's a big question. There were some Tea Party candidates who were nominated back in 2010. One who comes to mind, I can't think of her name right now, but she was the the Republican nominee for U.S. Senate in Delaware. And she did this commercial where she said, "I'm not a witch." I remember this. And she was wearing, at the time, a black dress with a bunch of smoke behind her. She kind of did look like a witch. And I think she was a Tea Party favorite. She went on to lose handily, unfortunately. So I think there'll be a parallel insofar as some of these DSA people might stir up a lot of excitement in the primary electorate, but when it comes to a general election, they're going to get defeated because they're just so far out there. I think it's also important for the Republicans not to take them too lightly and assume, oh, these people are crazy, they're not going to get elected. I mean, I would take all these people seriously. I'd run very tough campaigns against them. One thing that the DSA folks all have working in their benefit is that the Democrat electorate on the left are very motivated. They hate Donald J. Trump's guts. They will crawl over lava to get the polls. And I don't know if you're going to have quite that level of enthusiasm on the right, in particular when you look at things like John Thune sending the Senate away for a 5-week vacation. We want those people to be there, voting on the Save America Act, voting on Reconciliation 3.0. Putting forth the America First agenda and getting as much of this stuff onto President Trump's desk as possible. And the House has passed a whole bunch of stuff, and it went over to the Senate, and they voted on one or two things and put Todd Blanche in as Attorney General, and then took 5 weeks off. This is disgusting. This is going to drive down the morale of the base. It'll leave a lot of people unenthused and frustrated. And you want Republicans walking into the polls, happy, singing, whistling, and bringing along their friends and neighbors, not in the corner grumbling, thinking, "Gee, we had a great opportunity to get a lot of stuff done." And John Thune thought a 5-week vacation would be the thing to do. The Senate does not return from work until the Monday after Labor Day, not the Tuesday, not the day after Labor Day, the Monday after Labor Day, a whole week of vacation after Labor Day. This is disgusting. And it'd be one thing if they passed the Save America Act and got Reconciliation 3.0 and got some tax cuts and so on, and Trump passed these things, then great, reward yourselves with a 5-week vacation. But basically leave with so much of their business undone and not take a week off or 10 days off, but 5 weeks off. This is I think legislative malpractice, and John Thune ought to be run out of office. He really should be removed as Senate Majority Leader. It's not good for the country, not good for the movement, not good for the party, and I think ultimately not good for the elections in November.
We're speaking with Deroy Murdock, nationally syndicated columnist. You can read his latest piece, Far Left Democrats Lose to Far, Far Left DSA Challengers at dailysignal.com. Deroy, do you consider the possibility that the Republicans going into the midterms could think to themselves, okay, I can beat a socialist. A moderate Democrat might provide me a little bit of a challenge, but do the Republicans running in the midterms, not take these socialists seriously at their own peril?
Well, potentially. I mean, somebody like Francesca Hong, let's say that she had gotten nominated, I think all of her crazy remarks would make her tough to beat. But as I say, there are some people who think, well, I hate Donald J. Trump's guts. I can't vote against him, but I'll go and vote against the Republican he endorsed and go vote against Tom Tiffany. And Francesca Hong gets in and, fights against Thanksgiving as governor. Well, I'm willing to live with that. So there is the risk, you do have the risk that some of these people actually will get in. But I think for the most part, they will be easier to beat than Democrats who are just regular establishment types. I think those are going to be tougher opponents. But yeah, you do run the risk that some of these crazy people actually do get elected. Sometimes that happens.
Deroy, do you feel good about the midterms for Republicans right now? You think we need to prepare ourselves for losing one or two chambers of the House of Congress?
I think what we have to do is fight extremely hard for that not to happen. And I've heard some people say, oh, don't worry, if there's it won't be a Democrat wave. If the Democrats take over the House, it'll be just a small majority. No, wrong. The objective is to keep the Senate, and the objective is to keep the House both in Republican hands. Look at the fact that you've got Mike Johnson there, majority, very small majority. He was still able to pass Reconciliation 3.0 out of the House. They've been able to hold hearings on a whole bunch of different things. The Republicans control what happens in the House with a small majority. If you had a Democrat majority with Hakeem Jeffries as Speaker, with a 2-seat majority or a 1-seat majority, the entire Trump agenda stops completely. And instead of passing more school choice or more security for the border or stronger defense or tax reduction or anything else, it's going to be nonstop impeachment. It'll be impeachment 3.0. They'll probably impeach Hegseth. They'll probably impeach Marco Rubio. They'll probably impeach Annie Frey and Deroy Murdock. They're going to impeach everybody on the right. We'll all be impeached. So we'll have that going. And so the objective should not be, well, okay, let's make sure the Democrats have a small majority. No, wrong. They have to be in the minority in the Senate. They have to be in the minority in the House, or it's just going to be, at best, the end of the Trump agenda, and at worst, it's going to be the end of the Trump agenda and nonstop impeachments between now and when the next president is sworn in January of 2029.
Man, Deroy, if they do that, let's have lunch at 1:05 Central Time together if we're free at this time. You and I have had these meetings for quite some time, and they're going to be going crazy. You know it, and I know it, and everybody knows it. And there's a lot at stake, and the good news is that in this country, the people still have a say, but they got to get involved and get engaged.
They got to show up.
Yeah, amen to that.
Absolutely.
Thank you for being with us today, Deroy. It's always good to have you.
All right. Great to be with you. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.
Deroy Murdock, nationally syndicated columnist, Project 21 ambassador, is a great organization, and Fox News contributor. If you want to check out his latest piece in the Daily Signal, where he always brings a lot of data to the conversations. He certainly does have a ton of thought and opinion on what he's talking about at any given time, but he backs it up with a lot of statistics. So I encourage you to reach out to dailysignal.com and pull up his latest piece there. We're going to take a quick break, come back, and maybe dip into the text line a little bit. 314-241-9797. 314-241-9797. Your thoughts on that vacated Air Force One decoy plane. Should it have still taken off when the president was removed for his safety, but there are cabinet members and press and crew still on there? Should it still have taken off? YouTube.com/@Annie Frey to vote. 314-241-9797 to text us. Back in a minute. Don't go away. So I'm going to talk to you about your retirement. Last night, great opportunity to meet so many of you folks who have heard us talking about Bob and Tammy Kershaw at the Retirement Advisory Group. And you went to see what he had to say. Smart move. Very smart move. So thank you to everybody who came out last night. But if you're interested in setting up your own appointment, couldn't make it to last night's event, or maybe don't want to wait until the next event that we have, call them at 314-993-9494. That's 314-993-9494. It's retirementkey.com, and they want to sit down with you and talk to you about your transition into retirement. When you are 59 and a half or older, you can roll over your company retirement plan tax-free and create that worry-free retirement with the Retirement Advisory Group folks. If you're nearing retirement, or if you're already retired and you're wondering how to turn your 401k and IRA into that worry-free retirement, the people are there who are kind, who are going to usher you through answering all the questions that you need to have, so that when the time comes to make that retirement a reality, you know you can do it with peace of mind. So reach out to the folks at the Retirement Advisory Group, 314-993-9494. That's 314-993-9494. You find them online at retirementkey.com.
Not feeling it? Could be your testosterone. U.S. Men's Medical Center in St. Peters helps men experiencing loss of energy, focus, concentration, and low libido. Check out the testimonials at usmensmedicalcenter.com. Patients are excited about feeling great, having energy, improved libido. Plus, they love the staff and the fact that they accept all insurance, including Medicare. Call U.S. Men's Medical Center at 636-244-5333. usmensmedicalcenter.com.
Gain peace of mind that your flooring and carpet installation will be done right the first time when you hire the experts at Michael's Flooring Outlet. They give all their clients attentive personal service, even bring toys for the kids of the household. It's a family-owned and operated business for 25 plus years. They make sure you make the right choice for your home. So if you have carpets or hard floors, you're going to be happy for years to come. 3 convenient locations in St. Charles County, 116 Main Street, in Old Town St. Peters at Mid Rivers and Highway 70, in West County on Olive, and the store in Darden Prairie. Michael's Flooring Outlet, igotfloor.com.
Don't let tax refund worries hold you back. File now with TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They'll find every credit and deduction to help you get every refund dollar you deserve, or your money back. Start filing today in the Credit Karma app.
The Annie Frey Show is St. Louis conservative.
that they would not actually be capable of shooting down the plane. But, if you have intel that they're going to try or that he's in a compromised situation in the Middle East, you'd probably just want to hide him a little bit, which apparently they did. What I've read is that they put him on a catering truck or something like that.
They took
the
catering truck was on the Air Force One they're on. It lowered, it left, it went on the smaller plane.
And so on the ground may have been a greater threat, and so that's why they were hiding him there more than anything. Being in the Middle East, you just don't know. I will say this. There are a few comments here that are tying today's YouTube live chat poll in with the fact, and not questionable fact, that we're going to at some point today lose gravity on the Earth.
Oh, shoot.
And
it hasn't happened yet, has it?
It hasn't happened yet.
I was told...
Not that I've noticed.
I was told between when I found out that this conspiracy theory was a real thing. That was today. You had never heard of this.
No.
Ethan had never heard of this.
Apparently, it's been kicking around the internet for quite some time, last 6 months.
It's kind of exciting.
It is kind of exciting. I'm kind of looking forward to it. Now, I don't want to see all the death and destruction. I question why we need a full 7 seconds of anti-gravity, because you could do the test in 1 or 2 seconds and be just fine.
Yeah.
But Ethan said earlier that the perfect place to be if you were going to lose gravity would be on a trampoline, because then you'd come back down safely.
I think we could entertain that conversation a little bit more. Would you be more worried about the going up or the coming down?
Yeah.
I think the coming down is the problem.
Yeah, the going up would be fun, although frightening. The coming down is the problem, and that's why I said being in a building is probably your safest bet, because you wouldn't go higher than the ceiling. Although he's like, no, buildings would float away too.
I don't understand why that's the case.
What kind of building are you in? But tying these two issues together, once again, the poll and this anti-gravity thing that we're going to experience today, wouldn't being on a plane be the best place to be? Think it through.
Let me think about when I went to plane school. Or like basic science. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure.
This is like a reasonable question that my kids would ask me about something somewhere, and I would go, I don't know. Go ask your dad.
Although I guess if gravity were to remove the atmosphere as well, then the plane might fly into space, and that'd be bad. In 7 seconds. We need a scientist.
Just to reiterate here for people who don't know what we're talking about, this is a New York Post article from yesterday, and it says the viral conspiracy theories that Earth's gravity will briefly vanish on Wednesday. That's today. What if it happens? Purportedly causing a cataclysm the government is hiding. Are entirely untrue. NASA assured humanity. Earth's gravity or total gravitational force is determined by its mass. So that NASA's like, ooh, we'll talk science. They won't get it, but maybe they'll trust us. Because but most people don't understand these things. You learned it and you moved on. Unless you got in the business of science. That's just kind of the way things go. But the idea is that for, I don't know what that video said, 15 seconds, that there is going to be...
No, 7 seconds.
I think, okay, so I think the total cataclysmic event, maybe they said would take 15 seconds, but I think 7 seconds of no gravity, and then there's the next 8 seconds where things get real.
Okay. Come back down.
In theory. I was thinking, okay, I'll be in the studio. So I could hold on to this. My feet would just be in the air.
Yeah.
But my feet, I'm close. I would be able to stand on the ceiling.
Like Lionel Richie.
Have you thought about the concept of what happens if we lose gravity?
Yeah, I've seen it in that video. He was walking and dancing on the ceiling. Decent song. I'm not saying I loved it, but it was okay. So, yeah, I think I've thought this through pretty well.
You would say you want to do what?
How
would you manage it?
Okay, so for 7 seconds we're inside. I'd swim around in the air. Why? That's what you've always wanted to do. Because it's not as if having no gravity means you can't move. Like in a spaceship, they move around. So it's not like you're just floating up. Once you hit the ceiling, you could float back down by just pushing, So you can just have fun with it for 7 seconds. Let's just have fun with this thing, guys. Everybody's talking about death and destruction.
If gravity were to go away, it would go away progressively. It seems weird that it would just be back. You're thinking that we're going to Dick Van Dyke and Mary Poppins after they have a tea party on the ceiling. You're thinking we're just going to casually, magically float down. the AI-generated Instagram video that I saw from some conspiracy theorists I've never heard before suggested it would be a little more violent.
Sudden?
Yes.
Okay, well, let's deal with the suddenness of it. But at least for that 7 seconds, can we not be free?
Also, I would think, too, that what if it's like, when you slow down time, when you get back to normal time, it has to speed up for a minute, right? To even out.
Well, the movies, it does.
That's my research.
But in the movies, if people lose gravity, I think that they do float back down, too. So if we're just using movies.
Not the one that's on Instagram.
That's a fake movie.
Anyway, I think we're about 30 minutes into It Hasn't Happened Yet. So I was told between 1 and 3 by the time of the end of the show, if we're still here and our feet are still on the ground, and I'm talking about in a physical, literal sense, not in like a metaphorical, we're grounded kind of sense.
Right. Like,
then,
we're not going, we're going to balance the budget.
No,
like, that's not happening.
no.
We know that that's fake.
We're just talking about getting through the day.
Yeah.
With gravity.
We love magical realism, but we're not going to suggest things that Congress would never do.
No. We'll do that in the 3 o'clock hour when Mark Reardon is floated up to wherever he is and can't make it in. We'll see. Gravity or not, keep it here to find out. We'll be the first to tell you. I don't know.
You won't notice on your own.
Keep giving us your thoughts
Need
and
the
voting.
News to tell you.
Yeah, on the YouTube live chat poll. Should Trump's vacated Air Force One still have taken off with the rest of the crew and the passengers? Yes or no? Love to have your feedback. 314-241-9797 on the text line. Annie Frey on YouTube, Frey. Go vote. Go comment. We'll be right back.
The YouTube live chat poll, we were just discussing it. We want to know your opinion. Should Trump's vacated Air Force One still have taken off with the rest of the crew and passengers? Yes and no.
Can you read that comment there real quick that I just put up here on the Annie Frey YouTube? It's funny.
It says from Dirk, holy crap. Annie was moving her camera, and I thought the loss of gravity had started.
I knocked my whole camera over there in the break. Hadn't considered the ramifications for the viewers. Sorry about that. No, I was just being a klutz.
So if you don't notice it yourself, this is one of those worldwide events that would happen instantly to you too. So if you see our camera just slipping, don't think that the event has started next time. That's the lesson to be learned. 132, this time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up. JerryKelly.com.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Did you see the latest, Ryan, comment from the Fever coach, Stephanie White?
No.
You didn't see it?
No, usually my dad texts me those things, and he didn't text me that one.
Are you serious?
Yeah, he does. He's like, it's always just something like, here we go. Can you believe this?
Is he in the WNBA? Into
My dad?
the WNBA, not in the
No,
WNBA.
he's in the draft. He's not in it.
Now we're just mocking the women. Bob Wiggins. Is he a forward? He looks like a power forward to me.
He's a tall guy.
You haven't seen this?
No, I haven't seen it.
Did you see Stephanie White's statement right after Sophie Cunningham was assaulted by
I think so.
She came out and she said something like it was a hard foul. She didn't think that it was malicious or intent. She never really even said anything about Sophie. She's Sophie's coach. She coached Stephanie White, the Fever coach, coached Carrington at UConn. That's where she spent time coaching her for several years. So she knows DeJohnny Carrington. I would assume if she knows her, probably has good memories with her, most likely. You would also think that you'd take the time to stand up for your current player who was bleeding after that attack. And I remind you, Sophie made the layup. So I think that's a really important part of the story. When Stephanie White, the Fever coach, was talking at the presser immediately after all of this happened, she didn't really say anything about Sophie, and she really, really gave DeJohnny Carrington runway to be like, back off of her. This isn't a thing. The Fever coach was also asked at that about DeJohnny's tweet that she put out. It was a post on Threads, I think. What do you call that? A thread? She was asked by a reporter, do you know that Carrington posted white privilege after that? And she went even further to be like, kind of back off of her. Didn't defend Sophie. Didn't say Sophie deserved it. But who do you if your coach isn't going to come out there and have your back, then who is? Well, at the Fever game, I guess it happened yesterday. It was at home, and the Fever fans booed Stephanie White. The Fever fans booed their own coach yesterday.
Oh, well, okay. Seems okay to me.
Here is the statement that was put out yesterday by Coach White herself. She's sitting at the press table there. And I just want you to really understand, just listen to her words. She's all about love. And you know it because she keeps telling you, but she's got a little extra treat for you here, Ryan, at the end.
No, I'm going to start today. This isn't necessarily for those people that are in this room. This is more for an online community that's trying to create narratives that simply don't exist. Trying to create a fabrication or distortion of who I am, of what I'm about. Our players' success, our players' health and wellness, our players' safety is always a top priority for me. One of the things I pride myself on is my relationships with players. For those who have anything to say about the play in the last game, I didn't see the play in real time. I went straight to a press conference. I thought the play got called right. Thankfully, Sophie's okay. Was it egregious? Absolutely. When you have a chance to watch that over and over and over on replay, you can see that. I didn't have that in real time.
Were there any
I take personally any suggestions that I don't 100% always have my players back. I ride with them 10 toes down all the time. All the time. They know that. It's a shame that we can't have an opportunity to talk about what great basketball they're playing. Because they are f***ing playing. The reality is, with me, I will always lead with love. I will always lead with grace. I will always lead with humility. And I will always lead with integrity. Doesn't mean I'll always get it right. I'm also human. The hate, the fear-mongering, the divisiveness, the stuff that's trying to hijack our league will not win. It won't win. We are united. We are connected. We will not be divided. Every day these women put their on the line. Every day. When they go low, we go high. Love will win. Grace will win. Humility will win. And kindness will win. I stand by them. I will always stand by them. Everybody else can go to hell.
What? What happened?
She's sorry, I think is what she was saying. I think he was saying she was sorry.
The whole first part of it, she was talking about how she'll always have her players' backs. I didn't get to see the footage. That was pretty. I was normal. That was like, here's her addressing it. But then it just took a dive into, well, everybody's wrong and we're all united. It's like, who are you talking to? Are you talking to the fans?
Yeah, blink if the hostage takers are in the room with us.
Yeah, what?
What is the problem here?
There's a comment real quick from Russell that says, I stand with love, now go to hell.
Yes. Yes. I wrote it down because I remember when I heard it the first time. Grace, love, humility, and integrity. She's saying she's saying that it's a shame we can't come here and talk about basketball. Need I remind you that after Dejounte Carrington physically wiped out Sophie Cunningham, she went back to the locker room. She didn't get out of the locker room before she tweeted white privilege. So if you're ticked off about this, somebody get in Dejounte Carrington's presence and ask her the question why she doesn't want to make, let's use the WNBA's phrase, keep the main thing the main thing. You've got the commentators on the WNBA. They're now very vocally talking about people who are here to cause disruption and division. And they're talking about people who like the Fever and who like Caitlin Clark, who are new to the league, new to fandom of, understanding that, they can name a WNBA team right now. They're criticizing all these people who are new to the league. God, I hate breaking it to you. Everybody's new to the league. This is a brand new experience for a lot of us, and you are failing in the moment. You are falling face first into the mud here, not able to handle the spotlight, not able to handle the pressure. Stephanie White, after her girl got annihilated by an opponent, she said she didn't see it. You can go back and watch the tape. She is right. I mean, it's on. It must have been in the second half because Sophie Cunningham was shooting in front of her own bench. And she goes and she gets absolutely checked. And you can see that if you watch the video, Stephanie White is right there watching it. Her view is unobstructed.
Golly.
She said she didn't see it. Now, to the point that you made, if you hear at the beginning Stephanie White saying, listen, I didn't see it from the angle. When you watch it slowed down and you watch it on repeat, it looks really bad. I didn't see that, and I missed an opportunity to back up my player. Sophie knows that I have her back, but unfortunately, I didn't say that in a way that made sure that the public knows that I have Sophie's back, and I apologize for that. And I want you to know that Sophie's an all-star player, and she plays hard. She gives it. She can take it. She doesn't need people out here, defending her honor because she does it herself. But I'm going to come out here and tell you right now, I got Sophie's back, and Sophie knows it. And she should have done it with Sophie sitting next to her.
Yeah, that's been a good move.
And Sophie should have just sat there and been like, I love my coach.
Yeah.
I've got a cut to play that we can play when we come back a little bit, because Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham came out and talked after the game and kind of commented on some of this. And I do think it's an interesting part of the story, because the whole time I'm thinking, whatever Stephanie White has to say about whether she has her locker room or she doesn't have her locker room, I mean, we'll never really know. And I have always had a conspiratorial, I'm more confident in this conspiracy than gravity being gone by 3 p.m., but we'll wait and see. I think the WNBA, my conspiracy theory is that the WNBA, I don't know if they're scripting it and cooking it up in a boardroom, but I think that they go, the pathway to being profitable is that these girls fight each other. And of course that would be a profitable way to go about it, because we've been watching reality television of faker things than this. And, not just since reality TV has been around, but that's basically what wrestling is.
I was going to say, this is like WWE at this point.
After Dejanay Carrington, that day when all this stuff was going down, she puts on her Threads account 8/23. It's with the smiley face or something, which is the next time they play the Fever. I've not followed wrestling, but I see a ton of people from the WWE or whatever it is arena saying, like, this is very reminiscent of that. You create villains, you create heroes, you pair them up against each other, people watch to see what happens next. Now, I think that the basketball is still the basketball, but you want to talk about keeping the main thing? I don't know what the WNBA's main thing is, because the main thing seems to be all of these different causes that they're openly, aggressively trying to champion all the time. The WNBA players pre-Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham, they're constantly talking about issues that have nothing to do with basketball. Now we want to keep the main thing because the issues that are being talked about are pro-Caitlin Clark. This doesn't make any sense to me, except for it makes a lot of sense to me. I just don't want that portion of this story to be true. But Stephanie White, like, you can't come out here and, if mom is talking to you in that tone when you're a kid, you're like, ooh, even if she's not mad at me, she's mad. I'm not gonna mess up right now. There's no part of that is contrite or apologetic. You feel like you're in trouble when you're sitting there. She's admonishing the people who put her in a position to go, I think I screwed this up. That's a problem.
That's exactly what she's doing. She's mad in that press conference at the fans, and she is telling all of you and us, you are wrong. If you guys would just calm down, we're doing great over here. As if there's no problems internally with all these fights and all this racial stuff they've made in the WNBA. She's saying, no, that's all fine. We're all okay here. It's your fault for making something out of it.
Do you feel like this is an important story?
It's becoming one.
I mean, because I always, I'm trying not to make it like something that is too soapboxy for me, where Annie won't stop talking about that. I feel like this is a really important story, and if we don't cover it and it goes away, then the other side wins, and I don't really want to be a part of that. Is that, I don't know.
I don't think that you're wrong for covering this story, because I am your target here, and I am not interested in the WNBA at all.
But the story is still important.
But when these happen, I'm like, whoa, okay.
Well, you could let us know as well. YouTube chat, 314-241-9797. Keep giving us that feedback on President Trump's vacated Air Force One. Should it still have taken off? Back in a minute. Don't go away. Let's talk about Point Pest Control. It's Point with an E, pointpestcontrol.com, 636-798-0023, 636-798-0023. If you have a spider problem, and if you have a spider, you have a problem. That's my motto. That's really what initially had me calling Point Pest Control a few years ago in the fall. I saw, we came home from an extended weekend away. It was like a 3-night away volleyball tournament, I think. Came home, and kids went downstairs in the basement, moved some blankets, and I think they saw 3, wolf spiders?
If they were wolf spiders, they were huge.
They were huge. They had muscles.
3 of them?
In different places, but like sitting in blankets. Like they had been unbothered for a period of time, and they felt comfortable where they were. Anyway, we didn't burn down the house. We called Point Pest Control. It was one of the 2. And we still live in that house, so I'm glad that we called Point Pest Control. Because if you see 3 of them, I don't even want to talk about it. I wanted them gone dead. Don't ever want to see them again. If I see another spider, we're calling Point Pest Control. They're coming right back out to our home to treat. And that's because I'm a Premier Service Plan subscriber. You can too. You can get a 10% discount off the best deal that they have going as well. Just call them at 636-798-0023. 636-798-0023 and mention Annie to get that 10% discount. It's point with an E, pointpestcontrol.com.
Take 97.1 FM Talk with you. Trust, Mark Cox, Annie Frey, Mark Reardon, Scott Jennings, and more are just a tap away with the Odyssey app. Stream 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis conservative.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight illnesses like pneumococcal pneumonia and RSV. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and can help protect you from getting really sick. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. See more at PfizerForAll.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Heartburn. Quick, Alka-Seltzer. Because nothing is worse than heartburn after a long day. When you're finally off the clock, dinner's done, feet kicked up, kids asleep, and boom, heartburn tries to steal the moment. Quick, Alka-Seltzer. Because nothing works faster for heartburn relief. The effervescent tablets start neutralizing acid in seconds, so you can sit back, relax, and unwind from your day. Next time heartburn hits,
quick, Alka-Seltzer.
Use as directed.
This is the Annie Frey Show on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis conservative.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. The gravity is still gravitying.
It's still grabbing us.
Okay.
Do you remember the band Gravity Kills?
They've got a song that I know.
And I can't even think of the way it goes right now, but I have not thought about that band until this very moment. And they are a St. Louis band.
Give me a decade.
90s.
Okay.
Oh, for sure. Mid-90s, maybe even late 90s.
Find me a Gravity Kills song, because I can see that on my playlist, but I don't know what the song is.
There's one that if you played it, everybody listening would probably
know. I know that because I know the band. So that, if I know that, then I know that I've had to have added it in.
They're having a huge day today.
Maybe.
Well,
we don't know yet.
It would be proving their name wrong.
If you want to learn more about this crazy conspiracy, that on August 12th, 2026, this is a conspiracy theory that has been established as far back as 2025. They've been talking about it for a long time. I didn't know it existed until right before the show started when someone asked me if I was scared about today. And I'm like, what are we doing? Are we getting fired? That was my first question. Like, is something bad happening? And then I found out that there was a theory that for 7 to 15 seconds, we were going to lose gravity, and it was going to cost, like, didn't it say in that video that I played at the beginning, like 40 million deaths?
Yeah, 40 to 60.
That's a lot of people.
It's a lot of people.
That's like a fifth of the country. That's too many. I don't know. If you bought a Powerball jackpot ticket today, and then the gravity was gone, and you would have, like, won, I guess you wouldn't know. If everything went to pot, you think they'd still be like, we're going to draw the Powerball numbers.
Well, what if it happened right after the lottery was drawn and you looked at your ticket and I won, and you started floating away? You might think that you had gone insane.
Or you're going to heaven. You die in your gun. Literally, this is how we're going up. The Powerball jackpot, I got to check this. Brad, check this right now because this says updated August 11th at 11:27 a.m. Nobody won the Powerball on Monday. And so this article, I think I attached to our sheet today last night. It was at $975 million, flirting with a B billion. But that's probably, like, people are buying tickets, so it's going to go up.
Yeah, so I'm on the Powerball website here. Estimated jackpot, $1 billion.
Let's go.
Oh, we crossed $1 billion.
I'm getting a ticket.
Okay, but I do have to make this point, and I'm sorry that I have to do this, but anytime I hear big Powerball lottery jackpot like that, I like to compare it to what Stacey Abrams was going to make for doing nothing, for telling people that their ovens were bad in Georgia. which is
You're like, I will do it for half.
which is double the Powerball right now.
To be?
$2 billion. It was $2 billion that she was supposed to make from her random 501c3 that she started with $100. That they were going to get $2 billion from the government, from USAID or whatever it was that we shut down, and they were going to get that money so that they could tell Georgians that their stoves were outdated.
Needed better ovens.
They needed better ovens, and that's twice the Powerball. Where you go from
But
there?
people are like, what are the odds that you could get, that you'll win the Powerball? And it's like 1 in 3 lightning strikes. And it's like, but what if you work in Democrat activism? They're like, it's like 1 in 30.
Dude, you really are investing in yourself by becoming a Democrat and just plugging into the system.
Mm-hmm. Gosh, what
you
are we
could
doing
make a
here?
lot of money. What are we doing?
Yeah, are they just saying, Brad, that it's $1 billion even?
That's
I need to
what
know
it
if
said.
it's over that. I need to know if it's going to tip me into buying 2 tickets.
If it's $1 billion, you're only getting 1.
What you got?
I'm going to share it here on the screen.
Powerball jackpot. This is last night, sourced to $975 million. But people like me are still going to go buy their tickets. And let's see. Somebody just said, if I'm the sole winner of tonight's Powerball jackpot, I'll pay for the Annie Frey show to go remote on a Florida beach. What about the beach club? Here's the thing, that this is something that I always feel like this is an effort in futility quite a bit. But if it were $975 million, the cash value is $391.9 million. And doesn't that seem like you're like that's
like a third?
That's like terrible.
That
and then
is
you think about the
terrible.
tax obligation.
Well, don't they reduce it if you take the upfront payment too? It's not the full. It's not just the taxes are taken out. It's that you also get
$391
less.
is before taxes. That's the
Oh,
cash.
that's just the cash?
That's what you get. Then you got to pay taxes.
Oh, then
on
you're
that.
paying tax. Oh gosh, that's terrible.
The winner can choose between a lump sum payment or an annuitized prize. One immediate payment followed by 29 annual payments. Both options are before taxes. The Powerball jackpot now has an estimated cash value of $391.9 million. It seems so paltry. Like, I don't even know if it's really worth it.
That money would go straight to the Cayman Islands if I was having it.
Or gold bars in your nicest suit.
Well, then you're getting back to Democrat policies. This is why you become a Democrat, is
That
so
way,
that you can launder.
In your retirement, you can dabble in Democrat activism
Usually
and avoid paying taxes.
laundering money doesn't look like putting the money in gold bars in your laundry. Like, that's what Menendez was doing.
Hold on a second. We've got an update on the gravity situation from Claire in Facebook. Thank you. We finally got some research on the subject. The gravity anomaly was to take place at 14:33 UTC, which converts to 9:33 a.m. Central Daylight Time, which has already passed.
Unless they miscalculated.
Is this according to the Mayan calendar or the Gregorian calendar?
That's a good question.
Or my Google calendar?
Yeah.
Did not schedule it.
Yeah. And also NASA, if they were just flipping a switch, they could have just delayed it a few hours. We don't know.
Got to catch people off guard. It's kind of a weird fear that I'm now going to think about because I'm prepared for a lot of things. Lack of gravity is not one of them.
I don't think that you should fear that.
Here's a question.
I think that's stupid.
Here's a question. Does how much you weigh affect how floaty you get? You have a larger center of mass. Do you go is it going to be?
I think you'd go a little bit
like all
slower.
the skinny people are way up at the top.
No, I think maybe the heavier people go faster.
Why?
Because the weight doesn't matter, mass does, and the centrifugal force is going to sling a heavier person farther.
Ryan, what do you think?
I think that it would matter, but I don't think it would show up in 7 seconds with people. I think if you're talking about somebody who's like 1 billion pounds versus a normal person, then you'd see the difference play
We
out.
apologize for the science here on the Annie Frey Show. You can correct us at 314-241-9797. Ethan, sports and local in the next hour. Don't go away. HomeshieldFoundationRepairs.com, 314-271-9900. That's 314-271-9900. Reach out to Matt Hayes and talk to him about whatever foundation concerns that you have. It's a whole host of things. Of course, I talk quite a lot about the basement waterproofing services that he offers. Comes with a lifetime warranty on the services that he provides you, 314-271-9900. But there are a whole bunch of other services that he can help you restore that foundation integrity in your home, at work, at your place of business, at church, if you've got foundational issues there. Reach out to Matt Hayes. He's a local guy. He's a family-owned company. Home Shield Foundation Repair is committed to giving you the best service, the best customer service, the best solution to your foundation repair needs. You can talk to him as well about 0% financing for up to 24 months. If you need to reach out to them directly, 314-271-9900. That's 314-271-9900. Talk to Matt Hayes. Tell him Annie sent you. HomeshieldFoundationRepairs.com.
Running a small business is a daily balancing act. One late shipment, one price hike, one employee issue, and your whole month, maybe the entire year, could be in trouble. That's where LendSeek comes in.
I needed $100,000 fast to keep up with inventory demands. LendSeek had me funded the same day I applied. Between their AI platform finding the fastest deal and a dedicated funding specialist guiding the process, it couldn't have been easier.
Our AI-driven platform matches your business with the right program from over 100 funders, up to $2 million in as fast as 24 hours. Don't wait until it's too late. If you've been in business at least 2 years with more than $500,000 in annual revenue, qualifying is simple. No collateral, no out-of-pocket costs, no hassle. From lines of credit, term loans to revenue-based financing, LendSeek is open for business. Apply in minutes at lendseek.com. That's LENDSEEK.com.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-777-7777.
That's 314-777-7777.
Details. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News, as we learn more about who was on an Air Force One jet that did not carry the president because of security concerns.
A senior administration official tells Fox when a decoy Air Force One flew from Turkey to the UK last month, Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent were on board, along with other administration officials and members of the press corps. The cabinet secretaries were aware President Trump was not on board. President Trump secretly flew on another aircraft with Secretary Pete Hegseth. The covert operation came amid a threat from Iran, according to a report this week in the Washington Post. Fox is also told the decoy plane was flanked by fighter jets. Reporters on board were told to keep their window shades down during the flight.
Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House. A crackdown on sham marriages. The new U.S. Attorney General announcing one of the largest marriage fraud prosecutions in U.S. history.
The indictment has charged 11 people with overseeing more than 1,000 sham marriages between Chinese nationals and U.S. citizens. U.S. Attorney General Todd Blanche said facilitators of these marriages were naturalized U.S. citizens from China, including one green card holder.
The facilitators use social media and other forms of advertising to market fraudulent immigration services to foreign nationals, primarily from China, and Chinese nationals would pay these facilitators as much as $100,000 for assistance in obtaining a marriage.
They would then apply for fraudulent green cards. The U.S. citizens participating in this scheme would then get paid as much as $30,000.
Fox's Jessica Rosenthal. Just getting word a former official with the Southern Poverty Law Center is due in court in California, charged as part of the Justice Department's broader criminal case against the civil rights group. Their former chief financial officer now facing several conspiracy counts. America is listening to Fox News.
When I hit my 50s, I felt like things were slowing down.
This is Sandra's Metamucil story.
I started taking Metamucil for digestion, but had no idea it would impact so much more. Not only did Metamucil help me feel more regular, but my heart health saw the benefits too.
Metamucil, one simple routine, 4 health benefits. Digestive health starts here. Go to metamucil.com for more details.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight illnesses like pneumococcal pneumonia and RSV. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and can help protect you from getting really sick. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. See more at PfizerForAll.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Thanks for being with us this afternoon. Gravity is still doing its thing right now. If you haven't heard, today is the day that conspiracy theorists have said for, I guess, into 2025 that we were going to lose gravity. Who knew that that was even part of a thing? I'd be curious to know, Ryan, on the text line, if people text in 314-241-9797, if anybody had heard about this.
Apparently Mark Cox was talking about it this morning.
Oh, he was?
So
Okay.
there are quite a few people who said that they heard him mention it, but I don't think anybody, well, maybe earlier when we were talking about it, maybe a couple people had said that they had seen it as an Instagram thing, but most people, I think, are learning about it today, whether it be now or earlier.
Did you ever get wrapped up in the Mayan calendar type of stuff?
Well, it was interesting. I did not get wrapped up in it. I thought it was just as stupid as this is. But I did think the cultural phenomenon of it was funny because anytime anybody puts a date on that stuff, it's great because the lead up to it is such a big deal. And then it always goes by and never happens. And that includes people trying to predict the rapture because Jesus told us we wouldn't know the time of the date.
Yeah. And if you want to talk about rapture, we'll do that off the air because as I said, I don't believe in the rapture. Did you hear the AOC story? AOC is like kind of a, do I go there or not? Normally I'm super opposed to talking about Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, but have you seen why she's in the news right now?
Because she's single?
Yes, in part. Apparently she had a fiance that apparently they're saying that she hasn't been with this guy for 2 years. I've seen that report as well. But the idea here, at least one that's being floated, is that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is everything in line right now for a presidential run.
All right. And then before you go, you did have a personal announcement that you made. It was interesting to see you kind of open up in, on an Instagram Live, I believe it was. So tell me what it was and why you decided to do it.
I think it's important for us to normalize these conversations, especially in this political environment. The Trump administration has...
Remind us what the announcement was.
Yeah, sure. So I have decided to start the process of freezing my eggs.
Yeah.
And in this political environment where this administration is denying reproductive care to women across the country, from abortion rights to the ability to carry out a healthy pregnancy, I think it's important for us as leaders to have these conversations and share these processes, especially for working women across the country, and normalize them.
Okay. All right. Congresswoman Ocasio.
So she's on ABC talking this week at ABC, which is John Carl, and she's talking about the fact that she's freezing her eggs. Now the report's coming out that she and her fiance of 2 years are separating or are not together or something. I don't know. I didn't read it in the details. But everyone's saying she's the gold mine for the strength of the Democrat Party, which I guess right now is old liberal women, maybe. That she's talking about, if you're freezing your eggs, I think she's 38 years old. if she's freezing her eggs right now, by the way, a 38-year-old pregnancy is a geriatric pregnancy. I did it. I saw the words on my papers. I was sad at that. It was a sad thing. We have a bit of a culture crisis right now in our country of women who have been told that they can have it all. But when you talk about having it all, it's defined by people who are not in the position that these women are. It's like an outward in messaging system where having it all is really shockingly defined by the feminists. Having it all means having everything that a man has while being a woman. Now, I digress in, again, the bang my head into the wall hypocrisy of why are we talking about women's health again? Why are we talking about women's reproductive rights? Because I think women's reproductive rights are people's reproductive rights. Because if you can have a penis or a vagina and talk about reproductive rights, then you'd have to talk about everything broadly. Right? Because right now women are whoever feel like they're women. But of course not, because that's absolutely asininely ridiculous. But here you have AOC, and she's out there, and it's really hard to be a feminist these days because you don't even really know what you're defending. You don't even really know how to define why a feminist would need to exist. Having it all to a woman who's in her 20s, who is probably at that fork in the road where they think, well, I need to choose between having a family and having a career. These people over here tell me that, of course, I can have it all. Go get your career. Go make your money. Have kids later. Folks, it's not that simple. It's not that easy. Your body is biologically not set up for that type of choice making. And really, it's very ironic to me that the pro get your career and be a boss bee, like go take everybody by by storm, run the boardroom, make the decisions, be the HBIC, everything that is being told to young women who have the opportunity to make that choice in their 20s. They're literally being told you cannot have it all right now and you have to pick your career. That you will set women back if you choose to settle down, find a nice man, marry him, start a family. You want to work, you can work too, in that capacity. What is it all? Now, if you're 38 and you haven't been in a committed relationship where you've said, yeah, I'd like to start a family with this man, and then you're 38 and you separate from a 2-year fiancé, which reports say that she hasn't been with closely. I don't really care about that. I don't, I wouldn't celebrate something like that happening to Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez because that part of her life means nothing to me. I would want her to have a spouse and have a family and be enriched in that way. I think it'd probably affect the way she actually goes to legislate from time to time. But flexing this idea of, live your life, chase that career, you can freeze your eggs in your 30s. Like it doesn't necessarily just work that way. It's not that it can't work that way. It's not that I'm inherently saying that that her decision here is wrong or that I necessarily have a say in what she does or what anyone else does. But this is absolutely arm in arm with the mindset that tells women that getting married and having kids is part of the patriarchy. This is a complete and total consequence downstream of a society that has told women for the last 20 years, you need to make your money. Don't rely on a man. There was a story I saw, Stockard Channing, is that her name? Rizzo?
Yeah.
Is that her name?
It's close to that if it's not that.
I think that's what it is. She was Rizzo in Grease. She was the first lady in The West Wing, and then I know that she's been in other things, but those are the two things I know about her the most. Stockard Channing?
Yep, that's it.
I think she's 82. And I just read a story on her. It might have been on Page 6. I'm not 100% sure where I saw it. But she was talking about how the story was kind of talking about how she's a recluse in Europe, I think in London or England or something, but she's like happy. Like she keeps to herself, but that's her choice. And she's in Europe somewhere. And there's this one part of the story where they talk about how she lost her husband, I think in maybe 2016. It was a while ago. Happened to be her 5th or 6th husband, but whatever. But she's 82, and the headline of the story is how she gets to kind of live her life and do the things she wants to do. And there's one line in the story that says, "It would be nice if I had somebody to take care of me." She said specifically, if I had children to take care of me. But she said children come with their problems too. So it's like you could tell that she had considered at 82 what having children would add to her life. But she's in a position now, obviously, where that's not going to be the case for her. I think more of those stories need to be discussed. And maybe at the end of the day, she's very happy, very fulfilled that she did not have children, that she doesn't have that right now. But I think that we are going to continue to see aging women be very unhappy, very unfulfilled. I'm not talking about the women who are just like, children are not for me, because that is definitely people, men and women alike. It is not for me. I feel so bad for the young women who in their 20s thought they had to chase something to have a fulfillment and success when they knew that they did want to have kids, but they put a pin in that part. And then they get into their 30s, are the young men that you would like, does it become incredibly harder to find a spouse and a father of your children in your 30s than it was in your 20s?
Probably.
I would think so. I would think that would become more complicated, especially one that, not all for second marriages. If there's a situation where you find love later in life because the first marriage ended for whatever particular reason, I always hope that people find that second relationship, or however many consequential relationships it takes to feel fulfilled and to have a partner to move through life with. But it's going to be more complicated with each passing year. And I just don't think that in the women's empowerment movement that it's really that empowering for women to choose the thing that they want to do. I think there's a lot of pressure for women to not participate in the childbearing part of being a woman. And, to me, when I think, how does a woman have it all? It's when she can truly embrace follow her heart and choose to do whatever she wants to do without the outside influence pressing judgment upon her to make her feel like if she doesn't have kids, she's a failure. If she doesn't have a career, she's a failure. Like all of that outside stuff looking in means a lot more to a 20-year-old and a 25-year-old than it means to a 40-year-old. But when you're 40, you've made some decisions that you can't undo.
Well, you just said both ends of that spectrum, I think, which is we've gone from a society that was probably before we were around that told people, women, you have to have kids to be fulfilled. Like there was a time where that was pretty much the common,
which was wrong,
ethos or whatever you want to call it. Then it swung the other way though, now to where we tell people, women, you shouldn't have kids to be fulfilled. You need to seek out yourself. You need to seek out your career and your wants and your desires. And the truth is really neither of those things. It's whatever you're called to do. I mean, I would put that into this too. Like if God calls you to do one thing or the other, that's what you need to do. And to say that you have to do one or the other, well, that's social pressure. And we've gone from one end to the other, and neither one of those has to be the case.
Yeah. I don't agree on anything with Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. But when she was talking about freezing her eggs, and she just was mentioning that I don't know that she mentioned it, but the news reports are out in the last 24, 48 hours that she and her fiancé were separating. She just didn't really come off to me as like she was invigorated and super pumped about this. So I just think, she doesn't need my sympathy, but it's kind of, I don't know. I think it's kind of sad.
I saw somebody real quick. I saw somebody saying today that she now really does look like the 2028 frontrunner for Democrats.
Yes, that's the thing that they're saying, that she's, independent, she's single, she's freezing her eggs, so she still has all of this in front of her. But, pregnancy, I'm going to say I've been pregnant 4 times. I've managed a career up and down through that. God's had me the entire time, and I've always trusted and hope to continue to trust him to have me. In his greater plan. But a pregnancy really, 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 really changes your career direction without going back. You cannot go back. So it's a huge commitment.
And she said, either in that interview or just recently, something about, woke point 1.0 was crazy. And it's like, what
She's
are you now
working it
doing?
back.
You're reeling us back now?
Imagine Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is running for president at some point, and she's got a surrogate having her baby. I mean, is that where we're headed? That's very acceptable in today's culture. I don't know. Lots to pay attention to. AOC in the news. That's enough of that. Let's do Ethan Sports and Local next. Don't go away. Civia Law, online at civialaw.com. Todd Civia is waiting for your phone call at 833-995-WILL. Get your estate plan established. You have, maybe you've got one already. When was the last time it was looked at? If it's been a while, you want Todd Civia to give it a look. They say you're supposed to have it looked at every 3 years because it's not just that your family circumstances can change, your relationship, your property, your ownership of whatever can change, but laws can change. So maybe you have access to benefits or whatever that you didn't have before, and you need to be up to speed. If you have no estate plan, if you haven't established that trust yet, Todd Civia is happy to take your call. And if you mention Annie and you're one of the first 10 callers right now, your initial strategy session, that's going to be free. It's a $300 savings, but you got to call this number and mention Annie. 833-995-WILL. That's 833-995-WILL. And give him a call. Schedule your appointment. Missouri and Illinois alike. He'll be happy to guide you through establishing those wills, trusts, powers of attorney, anything you need. CiviaLaw.com.
Kershaw with Retirement Advisory Group.
Hi, I'm Tammy Kershaw. When we meet our clients for the first time, they have built up a lifetime of savings. Their question is, what can we do with this money so we can live comfortably the rest of our lives? First, we develop a strategy to protect your nest egg from any market losses. Then we build your own personalized structured income plan that will generate you an income the rest of your life. We put you in control of your money.
You've earned it, and it's our job to make sure you enjoy it. Let our team show you how you can have the retirement of your dreams. Call us now at 314-993-9494 for a no-cost, no-obligation retirement review. You will also get a copy of our latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. We've been helping retirees and pre-retirees retire with confidence for 40 years. Call us now at 314-993-9494 or go online at retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
Don't let tax refund worries hold you back. File now with TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They'll find every credit and deduction to help you get every refund dollar you deserve or your money back. Start filing today in the Credit Karma app.
Annie Frey is St. Louis conservative. This segment of the Annie
Yeah. I pledge allegiance to the Ethan. How was vacation?
right.
Boston. You got a Boston hat on. It's a green one.
I do.
Why is it green?
Was a wonderful trip. It is a green Red Sox hat, which you might
It looks
find
like the
a little
wall.
bit opposite because of the color of the green monster.
The monster.
It's a beautiful ballpark. We went to Boston for a wedding and turned it into a vacation. And man, I had been to New York before, but I feel like I hadn't really experienced the Northeast. I feel like
Boston
New York
has to be a
City
whole separate type
New
of...
York does not encapsulate like the vibe of the Northeast. Boston is a super cool city, loads of history. I mean, we went to bars that were 300 years old. We're seeing all these different spots, historical spots. You know, Boston Tea
drink?
Party, Boston Massacre. What did I drink? I drank everything.
It all. I drank it all.
This was actually funny. The first day we were there, you remember how during the World Cup there was a lot of Scotland fans that were in Boston and they were like drinking everything and they were running out of beer.
They ran out of beer.
We saw Scottish fans that were still there.
They're still there drinking.
Really? They were still there.
They restocked the beer.
They were still there. They were like, yeah, no, we're about to leave. I was like, wow, that is really impressive. It was like a month ago. But yeah, so.
What's a better city, Boston or New York?
Boston. I liked Boston more. Now, if I went back to New York, now that I've like done a bunch of the sightseeing stuff and I wouldn't feel like I'd have to rush everywhere, maybe I'd have a better idea of it. But I felt way safer in Boston. It was a way cleaner city, and there is a lot more to do in the surrounding area outside of the city. The small little beach towns along the coast up there in Massachusetts, Rhode Island, were some of the coolest spots that I've ever been to. So cool. When I think of beach, I think of Florida. Mm-hmm. So like seeing beach in like the Northeast was kind of weird to me. Yeah. But yeah, very pretty, beautiful homes up there in like Newport, Rhode Island. One of the coolest spots I've ever been to.
So you recommend a Boston?
Highly, highly, highly recommend a Northeast trip that includes a couple of days in Boston.
So
you don't need a whole week in Boston.
I was going to say, if you're going to go do it, like to me, I'm always like, do it right. And I love going to these places and just being a hardcore tourist. Like do the touristy things. And then when you go back and you've kind of like, okay, we did that. Then you can kind of maybe dig a little bit deeper on the things that you're most interested in. How long do you need? What's the minimum amount of time to? You
could accomplish just about everything you want to in Boston in 2 to 3 days.
Okay.
You could do it, and then outside of that, go to Nantucket, go to Cape Cod, go to Newport, Rhode Island. I mean, you could probably hit 4 states if you're just driving in a 2-hour window there.
That's
I mean,
cool.
Vermont's right there. New Hampshire, Massachusetts, and Rhode Island are all not far from each other. Awesome, there's so much life and nightlife and history up there along the beaches and everything. So beautiful area. Highly, highly, highly recommend the Northeast, especially Newport, Rhode Island.
Well,
that place
welcome back.
was unbelievable.
We're glad you had a great time. Do you stay as plugged in? I know you've got the Loose Sports Talk podcast. Mm-hmm. Do you stay completely plugged in? Do you allow yourself to go?
Not as much. Still enough to like keep track of scores, but like what during season, if I'm in it, I am like watching every game. I'm tweeting about every game. I'm reacting to every game, pretty much. And I'm not doing nearly as much of that, but I'm still trying to. I'm still trying to keep in the loop enough to where when I come back, I'm able to tell the people that the Cardinals, they've salvaged a little bit. We're feeling okay. There was a couple week period there after the All-Star break where a lot of people, I think, were like, well, sky is falling and they're going to end up 20 games under 500 at this pace like a lot of people had initially thought going into the year. Ryan's people. Right, Ryan?
I still think that's possible.
I like how Ethan jumped on the YouTube live chat over his break on his vacation from a beach just to insult Ryan.
Wait, that happened?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was towards the end of the show. I didn't
on
have time
Monday,
to fit it in.
Very end of the show.
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah, I was kind of.
You should bring it up now.
I was getting into sad boy hours, I'm nearing the end of the trip, and I'm like, I don't want to go back, but it's mostly because I don't want to see you.
Yeah. And did you just say something like, I hate you?
No, I said basically what I just said to you.
Oh, it was more about you then.
It was more like, I don't want to go back because I don't want to see Ryan Wiggins.
Oh, that's fine.
That's
okay, because I was not looking forward to this.
Do the Cardinals finish above 500?
Do the Cardinals finish above 500? Annie, I mean, like, I'm telling you right now, the window of where they're going to finish is between, like, 3 games under 500 and 3 games over 500. So, I mean, like, asking if they're going to finish above 500 is such a hard question because, like, 500 seems like the very realistic spot, like, for where they're going to end up.
500 at the beginning of the season would have felt like, okay.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. It's still a huge win.
How much money would you... Well, I want you to bet on the Cardinals, but
I'll bet.
Like, how likely is it that they make a wild card spot?
I mean, if they beat the Phillies today, then they're 2.5 games out of a wild card spot. Would it be a betting favorite? No, but would it be that insanely absurd for them to not, or for them to get in?
You're still giving us a reason to watch.
Yes, there is absolutely a reason to watch. And just to get a level nerdier for a second.
You?
Yes.
Okay.
This team is 500. We all know that they were never supposed to be good. Baseball America is a scouting website, probably the most highly regarded scouting outlet out there for baseball. They just updated their team prospect rankings this morning, and they have the Cardinals at second in baseball.
Wow.
It took a year and a half for the Cardinals to completely revamp their system. You have a team that is playing 500 balls in the mix for the playoffs, and then you have one of the best farm systems in baseball. So I say all that to say it's not far away. And I think it might be even closer than we thought it was going to be.
If you bought into the Chaim Bloom rebuilding concept, and I think what everybody hates is like, okay, we're going to rebuild, but we don't really rebuild. You don't go all in and do that. If you bought in on that before the season began, and we're this far in, and we are actually still competing, we were sellers at the deadline. That's, I mean, if you're a long-term baseball fan, if you're thinking if you're thinking about the long-term quality of the ball club, I would guess that you're pretty content right now.
Hard to be complaining about where the organization is right now compared to where it was 2 years ago.
Content, or would you say you're excited?
Not content with where we are right now because you haven't accomplished anything. And that's what I love about Chaim Bloom is he constantly says the same thing. I don't know why everyone's, giving us all these round of applauses and standing ovations everywhere I go, because he says he gets that a lot, like a lot of high regard. He's like, we haven't done anything yet. It's a great start, but it doesn't matter if you don't translate it into wins, and specifically playoff wins at the major league level.
That's
great start, not there yet.
The opposite of Mozeliak. That's the opposite of what he was doing on his way out. He goes out in front of the crowd. What was it, opening day, and they booed him, and then he just was like, these fans suck. I think that was a direct quote from your podcast on the Loose.
No, definitely not that.
No?
Definitely not that.
I didn't get that story completely right.
No, you didn't.
Was it close? Was I in the area?
No, not really.
Venn diagram, Kamala Harris?
All I know is you were saying horrible things on record about possible future employers.
Really?
Yeah. And
Like
I thought it was stupid.
Really?
It's my goal to make sure that Ethan is always the assistant producer for this show.
Right.
Assistant
How
to
am
the
I
producer.
doing? Yeah. Oh, man. Well, I don't know if you've got do you have a whole plate full of things to do for Mark right now? A few?
A couple of things.
I've got this story, and I wanted to talk to all of you boys about this. You strapping men.
Thank you.
You're okay. You too, Ryan. There's this is from a Disney World blog, so take that for what it is. But there are people who are actively having Bible studies at Disney World. They're meeting at Disney to have these Bible studies, and there is a discussion as to the appropriateness of it.
It's an expensive Bible study.
Well, I mean, if you live there and if you have an annual pass, if you're like a Florida resident, you have an annual
sit
pass.
there and do nothing.
Have a Bible study there, have it at Starbucks or something like that. Why not? So I'm going to bring this story, give you a little more details when we come back, and talk about, is it appropriate? Now, we can think of a lot of other things that Disney World has brought into the park. Assembled people, people have come there to assemble about other causes. How do you feel about those? How would you feel about a Bible study there? So we'll talk about that here on the Annie Frey Show when we come back. Don't go away.
and in a lot of ways, the country itself. Follow and listen to Gone South Season 5, an Odyssey podcast. Available now on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your shows.
If you or someone you know suffered any injuries involving a deployed airbag, you could be entitled to compensation. Morgan & Morgan has already recovered millions. Get America's largest injury law firm fighting for you.
Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Tony La Russa here. Men, are you running out of stamina rounding third base? If so, call my friends at Victory Men's Health in O'Fallon, Illinois. Scoring at home is important, just as important as crossing the plate with the winning run. VictoryMen'sHealth.com.
When it's time to repair, restore, or upgrade your firearm, don't settle for close enough. Get the right part the first time from Midwest Gunworks. Since 1997, Midwest Gunworks has been a trusted source for OEM firearm parts, accessories, and expert gunsmithing services. Whether you're maintaining a family heirloom or upgrading your favorite range firearm, their experienced team and extensive inventory help keep you shooting with confidence. Visit MidwestGunworks.com or visit them in Peevely, Missouri, and discover why firearm owners across the country trust Midwest Gunworks for quality, selection, and service.
We're asking you today, should Trump's vacated Air Force One still have taken off with the rest of the crew and passengers? Yes or no? I can tell you that I think most of you right now have been saying yes, but I'm interested to see what the split is on yes and no. We'll give the results here within about 20 minutes. It is 2:34. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up. JerryKelly.com.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Thanks for being with us and voting in the YouTube live chat poll. If you haven't done that already, go ahead and give us a vote at youtube.com/@AnnieFrey. And the poll that Ryan just mentioned in the time check about Air Force One took off without Trump. He had to go on another plane because he had a threat on his life. But then there are other people who stayed on the plane and it took off. And people are suggesting that maybe that was not appropriate. There is a news report that came out today from Fox News that said that they had fighter jets, like I guess additional fighter jet escorts that were protecting it. I'd imagine they were flying pretty closely because one of the things that was instructed to the press on the plane was to make sure that all the shades were drawn. And also they had Secret Service in there making sure that nobody was taking a peekaboo. Any text messages on this right now? 314-241-9797. Any text messages?
Yeah, this one says, yes, Air Force One should totally have taken off. Snowflake media are narcissists if their safety is all of a sudden the story. And then earlier, I was looking for one that said the whole point of not telling them is that they had to have a decoy. And, you know, also people talking about the safety measures that are on Air Force One.
I guess you could have had a third plane or a third exit for everyone else, but how would, I mean, and then send that plane up and then watch it get shot out of the sky and just the pilots on it? That's not a cool mission. I don't know. Do you what percentage do you think is okay with it? Because you are emphatically, you have no problem with the fact that they sent this plane up, right?
Yeah, this is manufactured outrage, if it's even outrage. I think this was just exactly what the Secret Service should do, because if you change anything and there is a real threat, then it does notify the enemy that, oh, they're onto us, and so you can't really do that. Or maybe that's the point, is to notify them that you're onto them so that they don't do anything. But either way, these guys know what they're doing, and these threats happen, I'm sure, a lot more than we know about. So the fact that they've always turned out so far to not have turned into anything during the presidency anyway. We've seen certainly some things while he was running, but while he's had full Secret Service protection, I'm sure that they deal with this stuff all the time. And so to alter your operations over and over and over and over again would just be foolish.
Brad, you got some comments on the YouTube live chat?
Yeah, the first one is from Chris, and Chris says that, yes, it should have. Why tip the hand that something had changed?
Because other people's lives are at stake is the answer to that question and the argument on the other side.
And I've seen a couple of people make this point, so I'm not quoting anybody directly here from the text line, but traveling with the president does carry an inherent risk that's different from just being a civilian. And especially when you're overseas, especially when you're in volatile territory, that is a privilege that you're afforded. And so to think that you would always be considered priority number one is just not true. You are not the priority. The president is the priority.
They probably have a problem with that.
Yes, they would have a problem with that. I mean, to be told you're not the number one priority, everybody's ego is going to take a little bit of a hit with that. But ultimately, in this situation, it's obvious that the president is the most important person on that plane. And so if they think that they need to protect him in a way, if they knew a missile was coming they're like, a missile is coming for this plane, they wouldn't be like, send up Rubio in the press. It's just not going to happen. So it's such a weird argument to make that they're like, oh, they wanted the press to die.
Big news coming out of the White House right now. President Trump has posted on his Truth Social. This is what the post reads directly from the Donald J. or at Real Donald Trump on Truth Social. Our wonderful White House press secretary and one of my most trusted aides, Carolyn Levitt, will be departing her role at the end of the month so she can spend more time with her beautiful young children and family. A decision I totally understand and respect. Carolyn will now be one of my top outside advisors and an influential voice within the Republican Party as we work to defy history and conclusively win the midterm elections. Caroline has been a real leader in the White House and has done a phenomenal job fighting for justice, liberty, and freedom since 2018, including our historic re-election campaign of 2024. Caroline has been one of the best White House press secretaries in the history of the office. Thank you, Caroline, for a job well done. President Donald J. Trump. Wild to be having this conversation in the same show where we're talking about AOC freezing her eggs. If you're Carolyn Levitt, there's fewer places that you could go to have more personal knowledge and access to the goings-on of the American presidency, to have such great influence on both the internals of the White House, but also what comes out of the White House. She is incredible. And, she's, I think, I'm guessing, check my number on this, Brad, but I think she's 28 years old. She might be 29 now. I don't think she's 30 yet. And she's got 2 kids. She's married to somebody who's 30 years older than she is, which is, fine, whatever floats your boat. That's okay.
27.
Oh, gosh, she's
Still
27 years old.
Wow.
She's got 2 kids by 27. I had Charlie when I was 25, and then 2.5 years later, I had Jensen. So, and they went to high school today together. That's incredible. But Carolyn Levitt stepping down after having a baby, I don't think that that's something. You want to talk about gravitational pull? It's like when you experience that, it's like what could Caroline, if you want to talk about career success and having it all, she just chose to have it all. She just made that decision to have it all. And she's leaving the White House.
She's leaving the White House and a very public position. This will catapult her into other things. I think didn't she run for Senate in New Hampshire?
I think she ran for the House.
Or House in New Hampshire. Either way, she's run for office, so I wouldn't be surprised to see if she ran again at some point. But this is actually pretty normal for a press secretary. About 1.5 to 2 years is what they usually last. This was I thought she'd make it through the midterms, but
who's
not
next?
a huge surprise. I don't know.
Marco Rubio.
Scott Jennings.
That's not a bad idea.
People have floated that idea, although he's got a really successful radio show too at this point.
Radio show, but I mean, he is CNN.
Yeah, CNN would suffer greatly.
You watch CNN if you're one of us to see what Scott Jennings has to say, and you watch CNN if you're one of them so you can see people try to punch down Scott Jennings. I mean, it adds to the entertainment value of what you're watching. Of course, we watch him and we think that's the smartest man on television many times, but what?
What's going to be fun is that we get to talk to. You interviewed Carolyn Levitt before she was press secretary, and she knew you when you went to the White House.
I've interviewed her as press secretary, I think once, possibly, maybe. But she worked with the RNC quite a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and with the campaign.
So
maybe
it's-
I talked to her with the campaign.
It's likely and improbable that it'll be somebody that we talk to regularly here,
Yeah.
or I have anyway.
Yeah.
So that would be nice.
Or that we'll be able to have Carolyn Levitt on the show more frequently.
That too.
That's definitely something I bet
Kayleigh McEnany.
she should run the GOP. She should take over the RNC. So news out of the White House, Carolyn Levitt stepping down to take care of her babies. When we come back, that Disney World conversation, Bible study at Disney World. What do we think about that? Would you be excited to see that? Is that not the time and place? We'll discuss in a minute. Don't go away. So I came across a story, and it has to do with Disney World, and it's from WDinfo.com. And it says a recent online debate has reignited discussion about guests using Walt Disney World as a place to hold Bible studies. Some people argue that as long as the group is respectful, keeps to itself, and does not interfere with other guests, there's no reason it should be an issue. Others believe Disney's theme parks are not an appropriate setting for organized religious gatherings, even when they are peaceful and unobtrusive. We're all Christians in here, and we all, I would assume, to some extent or a greater extent, study our Bible. What would you do if you were at Disney World and you saw people leading a Bible study?
I don't know that I would care that much. But I just got back from Disney World, and so oddly, we had a discussion about this while we were there.
Did you see the story?
I think either I did or my wife did. One of us brought it up and talked to the other one about it, and so we just started discussing it while we were walking around. And then the conversation moved from, oh, what about a Bible study? Have you heard about people who do homeschooling at Disney World?
Yeah.
And they'll have multiple kids, and they'll just be sitting around a table doing their classwork in a restaurant or wherever they go. And interesting take here, but I actually don't really agree with any of it. And it doesn't have to do with the Bible at all. It has nothing to do with the debate that's currently happening over, well, should there be exercise of religion inside the park and all that? I don't care about that at all. I do care that I think that it's not a place you go to study anything, whether it's you're doing homeschool there or you're doing a Bible study or you're doing a study of something else, you're doing a research paper. It's just not where you go to do that.
My understanding is, because I've seen this in quite a few of the groups that I'm in, is that the homeschooling experience, you don't go there and then teach people out of a book. It's like that's the antithesis of what homeschooling is. It's more of a hands-on, go experience something. There are varying things at the parks where you could, it'd be like going to the zoo for a field trip here and maybe applying certain elements of science that exist at the zoo to the lesson, so it's more of a hands-on experiment. But I don't think, I've never heard of or seen anybody teaching class there.
Okay.
But if you've got like an open space, just to push everybody away from the thought of getting a dining reservation and sitting there for an hour and you're not ordering food and you're doing Bible study, I think that's definitely something that would be rude, to take up that dining space when people are serving you and you're giving water refills and stuff. Wide open area. You're sitting on the grass in front of the castle. Anybody's free to sit there once you've paid the freight to get in. Open your Bible, and you, instead of having a picnic, you're talking about Jesus.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you're there and not taking up anybody else's space or time, because it's just not set up for that. It's just not, and that does change my opinion. Like when you said that about the homeschool thing. My understanding was that it was not just a field trip day. If that's the case, then that's no big deal. But if you're going there and you're literally, like the story that's in my head anyway, this is probably from the last year, so I don't know if I got the details right. But what was in my head was that there were parents that were going there almost every weekday and just sitting somewhere and doing their lessons. And that to me is not what those parks are for. And this kind of is reminiscent of that, in my opinion, that it's just not a place where you're supposed to go and sit and, relax forever in some sort of free space.
If you've paid to get in,
I mean,
if I wanted to, maybe it's not the Bible, but maybe it's book club.
Uh-huh.
If you wanted to read a book, maybe you wanted to read the original Snow White. I'm making stuff up. I don't know. But you wanted to sit there and you wanted to talk about your book with your 4 mom friends, maybe while your kids ran around the park, and you're sitting on some park benches talking about the book, drinking a coffee. Sounds nice. Except for I don't want to read books.
Well, you added a detail there that did change my mind. If your kids are running around the park and you're just there to sort of be there with them, I don't know, that changes it for me. If you're going there just to do a book study, I don't know. That seems weird to me. That just doesn't seem like the purpose of a theme park.
Brad?
I really don't have a problem with it. I don't know what Ryan's issue. I mean, if I think about Disney, the spots that I think would be great for it are all in Epcot. Epcot has some great spots.
Brad's not has a problem with it as long as you do it in the right place.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you want to do a Bible study, you do want to have some sort of area where you can sit down and talk and not take up space and that sort of thing. Because you don't want to
take
be
up
rude.
space? You guys are both saying take up
Like
space.
be in the way because of how busy it is.
Yeah.
Like sitting down, plopping down in Main Street wouldn't be a great thing to do or something like that. But which
is not what these people are doing.
Obstructing
No,
from the reason in which people go.
Right.
But what if this is the reason? Also, I'll say I'm neither here nor there in this. I don't care. Like if
You
you're
are
doing Bible study,
guiding conversation.
yeah, which is what we do here, Ethan. Thanks. Your
I was
vacation
about
has
to
served
ask,
you
and
very
then I
well.
answered my own question.
If you're, if you were, I look at it this way. If I were in line for Big Thunder Mountain and there were 6 people having a very vocal kind of preachy conversation and I had a problem with the theology, that would bug me. We might both call ourselves Christians, but if they were preaching something that I was completely opposed to because based on my scriptural understanding, I wouldn't really love that. So if you're in a line, but if you're sitting in any of the public spaces and having a conversation, I don't know. And also, I will add here that I don't think Disney has said anything about this. It's just park goers who are saying, I don't know about this for other park
How big
goers.
of a thing is this? Is this like really generating?
I think it became a Reddit thing.
Okay, gotcha.
So in
like
that
someone
regard,
sees
probably
something
not
and
at
then
all.
all of a sudden starts typing.
The debate highlights the challenge of shared spaces. Disney parks welcome millions of people from different cultures, religions, and worldviews, and disagreements are almost inevitable when those beliefs become visible in the parks. For some guests, even a quiet Bible study feels like bringing something deeply personal into a space they believe should remain focused on entertainment and escapism. Others see no meaningful difference between reading scripture together and any other group gathering that is peaceful and respectful. I feel like if you look like you're a group of friends or family members and you're sitting down and you look like you're having a conversation, that's really nobody else's business. If it's something that is infiltrating outside of the space that you're using, that you're entitled to, then I would probably have a problem with it.
I can't picture what this space would be. I keep thinking of a restaurant.
I can give you 1,000 places where this could take
Are there
place.
any
There
just like
probably are.
random patches of grass?
Yes.
Where you could sit down like 5 people?
Yes, the grass that's in front of it. There's a whole bunch of different patches of grass in front of the castle. There are benches for people to sit on. I mean, I can think of when my husband and I, if we ever go by ourselves, we don't really ride rides. We might even stay at the resort, but you sit on a bench and you look at the water like you would if you were at the lake. And you could talk about stuff then. So
Just sitting there on a patch of grass, having a little jam sesh.
I don't know about that. I don't think you could be a performer. I think that would become a problem.
I don't have a hard time making jam per se at Disney World.
If I took you guys to Disney World and said the only requirement is we have to have a Bible study on the Magic Kingdom hub grass, you would say, I'm not going to do it.
You're paying?
Paying for it.
I would 1,000% go.
Yeah, if she's paying, I'm going.
Like it does.
Plus, I get a Bible
paying
study
or
out
I'm
of it.
paying. I mean,
All right.
I don't have a problem.
You
with doing
you
a
heard it
Bible
here.
Study.
Yeah, I know. I would break everything I just said for a free trip.
Oh, man. All right. Well, that's the story that's out there. And I just found it interesting of all the things you hear about happen at Disney World because there's a lot of different things that they celebrate, a lot of different cultures, lifestyles, and everything that this is happening there, too. And, I think it's worthy of discussion. I just think it's interesting. The YouTube poll for today is, should Trump's vacated Air Force One still have taken off with the rest of the crew and the passengers? Ryan, you are
Absolutely a yes.
Absolutely a yes. Brad?
Yeah, I'm a yes.
Ethan,
It's
do
just
you
a
have-
yes or no.
Yeah, I'll go yes.
Okay.
Where's the poll? It's not even up here. What's the problem? Do you have the results?
No, I don't have the results.
You
I
don't
thought
have
you
them?
did.
I can get them.
Okay. Well, it's up there on the YouTube. It was.
Surprise,
up
we
there.
tricked you. There was no
Yeah.
poll.
Nobody was saying anything. Oh, there it ended right now. 79% of y'all said yes. So 80%, you agree with that? You think that's
That's about what I expected.
1/5 say no?
1/5. Yeah, that's actually, I was a little bit thinking it'd be higher than that.
I'm surprised it wasn't more even. Keep it right here, Mark Reardon, next.
To shower money on their grandchildren, so why not use that as a teaching tool?
You can kind of impart your values to the kids by maybe rewarding them for things that are important to you.
Financial planner Sherry Greco-Rikis says grandparents can use cash as an incentive for some type of goal.